What's up, y'all?
Hello.
How's everybody doing today? I say that like they can answer when they can't.
You know who I was thinking is probably who probably feels like a big dick?
Who?
Someone who when you see like a duck and they have like the plastic shit stuck around their neck from like the soda cans?
Yep.
Like the person who just threw that shit away. Like if they could trace that back to the person who like actually got that shit caught around like a duck's neck.
That's a good point, but I'm about to hit you with a conspiracy theory right now.
Okay. You think the FBI does that shit on their own?
No. But like of all, because of all the environmental shit that goes on with pollution
Mhm.
and stuff,
Yeah.
I have a feeling that the things that hold the cans together, the soda cans together,
Yeah.
like that shit being tossed away and then getting stuck on ducks and fish and shit. I feel like that shit was not nearly as prominent as they said it was.
Oh, wait, hold on. What do you mean? Because like it's direct proof that that shit is like choked seagulls and shit.
Okay, now you're right, but like I bet the number. So here's my point. I bet there was like some 60 minutes
Oh,
report in like 1993. Hold on one second. I got randomly the TV started playing and it's loud, so
oh,
let me
okay.
just mute that shit.
I think Kyle's gonna be 100% wrong here because well, I could kind of see his point because maybe there was just one viral video of like a duck that had that shit caught around his neck and like someone saved him. But we'll let Kyle explain.
Okay, I'm back. My bad.
I was
So
I was trying to go through of what your reasoning for this shit could be, so let's hear it out.
so I'll hit you with it. So there was probably some 60 minutes report in like 1993 and it went viral in 1993, like the equivalent of viral in 1993, which is like
Yep.
everybody and their grandma and their uncles and everybody heard like, "Yo, did you see that report? Oh my God, these poor seagulls! Like this is crazy. We're fucking up the fish." To the point where when we were kids, like I remember my mom and like my family, they mentioned it like, "Oh, you got to snip the things with scissors so it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't, you know."
Mm-hmm.
But like that was just a good report that somehow went viral and everybody started doing it. But there are probably other things that are a much bigger problem that we don't give a fuck about, like that we never saw a viral news report on it. So like just plastics in general being dumped into the ocean. Like I've seen that
Yeah.
shit where, you got like the microplastics and shit and like the ocean water is just packed full of the microplastics and that's killing the animals and stuff. But that doesn't make people like stop using plastic, you
Dog, there
know?
was some I saw. I don't know if it was to your point, like a 60-minute special or CBS Sunday Morning, which I fuck with that show pretty heavy, but I can't like get up in the mornings to watch it enough. There was like this invention. It was like this big ass boat shit, like this big boat. And they had it in the water and it just picked up like all of the
Saw this.
pollution shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Yo, there was so much shit in the
Yeah,
water, like to a point where I was like, that's too much shit in our water. Like
totally.
they were like, this covers like the amount of blah 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 blah. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, I saw the same thing you saw, and I had always heard about like this garbage patch in the middle of the ocean where like
Yep.
whatever
Hmm.
for whatever reason the currents meet or some shit there, and like it's bigger than a country. Like it's bigger than the state of Texas. All the
It
just
was
massive amount. I know. I saw the same shit you did. And that shit is crazy, but like I feel like people don't talk about that as much as they talk about the cut snip the
seeing like, yeah,
fucking
one dick,
Coke
like one
cans.
dick.
Yeah.
People see one dick. No, it's like, no, but the power of seeing like a video that like they put some music to on like Instagram and it's like a crocodile or alligator who's got that shit wrapped around his like beak or
Mhm.
like his mouth.
Alligator beak.
No, imagine there's one alligator out there with a beak and he was just like, he can't do shit, but all he does is he has his beak. That should be, speaking of movies, people like our movies review. That would be a good movie if it was a superhero alligator, but he had a beak and he couldn't do
there's
shit. Like the
there's
whole
a
movie, he just couldn't do shit.
there's a chance there's some like anime porn out there that involves an alligator with a beak. It almost certainly is the case. But to your point, like you're reminding me of those commercials. You know those commercials where they have like the song in the background, "In the
Yeah.
arms
Like
of
Sarah
an
McLachlan shit.
angel." Yeah, and they show like sad puppy dogs who are like beat up or neglected and
Yep.
everything. And I'm not gonna lie, I get sad as fuck when I watch those commercials, and I'm like, damn, I should do more for the puppies.
I hate those commercials.
Yeah, but hold on, I'm about to hit you with a curveball though. Nobody ever does that shit with like homeless people.
Yeah, you're so. Why isn't there a homeless person commercial?
They just hit you with like, here's a cat, and you're like, damn, I love that cat. But they don't do that with like
stray ass cat walking. Yeah.
some homeless person named Bob, because they can't make, like, if Bob shits himself in the street, they can't put some Sarah McLachlan music to it and make him look like sympathetic.
Yo,
you know?
low key, what if there was like you can adopt like a homeless person?
Nah, son.
That could be. I mean, like on some on some shit. Like if you like they need homes. So that's kind of like the purpose is like adopt a homeless person. You can give them a home today for like whatever, $10 or some shit.
So there's some percentage of them that need like rehab, and there's some percentage of them that need like straight up psychiatric help in terms of like both medicine and therapy. Like that's definitely a thing. But also they just need money. Like most of them just need money because they can't afford a roof over their head. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That reminds me of the homeless person that I saw. Like I told the story in DC who came up to me. She didn't look homeless.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I'm homeless. Like, could you help me out a little bit? And I slipped her a 20. And I was like, I never would have even known that she's homeless. Like the people who we see who are homeless, who you're like, damn, that person's homeless for real, is like that person's been out there for like a year or more.
Yeah, that's correct.
Tattered clothes, and so yeah, like some people they need rehab or they need psychiatric help. They need like a counselor for sure. A lot of people need that, and they should get that. That shit should be free. But then also people just need money. Like I covered a study on my show about universal basic income. Mm-hmm. Did a UBI thing where they gave homeless people money, and like most of them, if they just got the money, ended up getting a place, and they were good.
For real?
Yeah.
Because I feel like most people's perception of like giving money to a homeless person is like, oh, they're going to use this on some drugs or like cigarettes or beer, and it doesn't go to the right spot. So like if they did studies and show that if you do give money to homeless people and it actually like helps them, that's what's up. Because like I think people frown upon that shit.
Because the most money that anybody would give a homeless person out of their pocket is like a 20. Like if I gave gave that woman a 20. But like a UBI thing is they give them like $500 a month or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, if they're getting like money like that, like where it's like you're actually getting some money and it's like steady, then
they might get the cigarettes or might get the drugs, but also they're gonna be like, I'm gonna go rent an apartment too, you know?
They're like budgeting their shit on some like, all right, 200 towards drugs, 100 towards the shit I gotta live in.
Yo, respect. That's what's up. Like sometimes they want to get high. Like, what are you gonna do? Life's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I feel that. But that would be a wild commercial to see. Like, I guess it wouldn't be wild because you're like donating to homeless people and almost like better than pets. But yeah, but
that's what I'm saying. It's more important, but nobody thinks about it as more important than the cat or the dog.
Yeah.
And that's true. That's sort of fucked up. Like we need to look at ourselves. The society needs to look at itself and be like, why do I not give a fuck about Bob, but I care about like Frisky the cat?
Yeah.
You know?
What's wild is like every town that at least I've been in or like have lived in, there's always like the town like homeless person or like there. I was just driving around today and I keep seeing the same guy. It's mad crazy. He's like this bald guy who's got like a backpack and it's kind of like a trench coat. It's actually a little scary, but he kind of just walks around. Every time I go somewhere, he's like like standing on the corner or like up on the hill. And I remember when I lived back in New York, there was a dude that used to like walk around the village too. And they would call like Catch Me. He was this like little Mexican dude, and he would push around like a shopping cart with mad cans in it. It's just crazy that I don't know, like the 2 or 3 places that I lived, there's like always a homeless or some like person just walking around the town, just like doing their shit, which to me is kind of what's up, that every town is kind of like got their own little like basketball team of a homeless person.
Yeah, but I'm sure they fucking want houses deep down. Have you ever had a conversation like
I never really had a conversation with like a homeless person.
Yeah, I covered a good story. Jordan Chariton from Status Quo, he's a good reporter. He talked to he like interviewed some homeless people for his channel, for his YouTube channel.
And, oh, really?
Yeah, and it was interesting, man. Like it was there's a lot more there than people think,
Yeah.
like it's just, everybody does this. You essentialize people. So you
Mhm.
see somebody, you put them in a box and that's the end of it, but everybody's a person who's complicated and complex and been through a bunch of shit and they have their own story and their own family. And, you get the specifics of how individual people become homeless. You realize that shit
You're,
could happen to
yeah,
anybody.
exactly. It's not that far off from like potentially being you type of shit.
Yeah, I never would have went to college if it wasn't for like straight up my mom filling out the fucking forms and shit. I never would have went to college. Like got through high school and like I put in minimal effort but still got B's somehow.
Yeah.
And then like when it came to college, it was just like she sort of took the ball and ran with it. And I
Same with
wasn't
me.
gonna I would have filled out one form for one place is what
Mhm.
I would have done.
Mhm.
And I would have done it begrudgingly at the last minute on the last day you could give the form in. Well, like I was lucky, I had some parents who gave a fuck and they helped. And like if it wasn't for them, who knows where the fuck I'd be,
Yeah.
And
That's
a
why I
lot
feel
of
like
people don't
college
have that.
is like, I feel like college is a scam in general because to your point,
Definitely is.
I would have never applied for some shit, but I applied to like a SUNY school to get my associate's degree. And like for people that don't think they're going to get into college, like you're going to get into college. Like there'll always be some shit that accepts you because they want your money.
Right.
So like
Yeah.
kids that like stress out OD over college and like SAT scores and all this shit, like you're going to get into some shit. Like
Yeah. But you're just gonna have to spend $1 zillion.
exactly. Like a college is always going to admit some kid because they want your money. So I think especially now it's probably easier to get into college because it's like they have so many there's so much space at like campuses. It's like they can't turn down $70,000 like a year from someone,
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
that's so much money that colleges make with like I don't know
It's a
how many
scam.
kids like a
It's all scam.
Michigan would like admit in a year.
Yeah, we've talked about this, but it's a scam, bro. Like it just like health insurance in this country is a scam. The college system is a scam. Crystal did a good monologue on this where she laid it out. Like in the 1990s, Bill Clinton gave a speech where he was like, "Look, no government can promise you like a good job, but if you follow the steps, then you're going to be good. And the steps are you go to college." And then people listened to that and went through the steps they were told to go through. And then at the end of it,
They still didn't get
they
some shit, right?
couldn't get a good job and they were like $100,000 in debt. It
Yeah.
was like, well, this was a fucking scam. Like this
Yeah.
was bullshit. And then you got Biden who was saying he was going to eliminate like 50,000 in student debt at one time. And he said 10,000 at another time. And he said, I'll eliminate all of it at another time. And then now he, I just covered the story. He's quote agonizing over the decision. It's like, what are you agonizing over, dog? $1.7 trillion in student loan debt. These people got like scammed. Like basically a college degree is the same as what a high school degree used to be.
Yeah.
Like just eliminate that shit and do rolling student loan debt elimination so that we basically have free college without it even needing to pass through Congress. He could do that shit right now if he wanted to, but he's not doing it.
So what do you think happens to colleges? Like, because I think it's getting to a point where like jobs and like the workforce is, to your point, like kind of not even. I mean, like they look at a college degree still. Like Molly would say, like there's still value in having a college degree, but then on the flip side, other like companies are becoming more progressive, where it's like you might not even need a college degree if you just freak your interview and you hit them with some shit. Like, yeah I know mad people. Like, do colleges just like it gets to a point where do colleges just fold and like there's no more colleges?
No, that's never going to be the case. But Molly's right that a college degree matters. If you look at the statistics, it does matter.
Mhm.
Like you make more in the long run if you have a college degree. But it is also true that nothing can top a good interview. And if you can freak in an interview and relate with somebody, then you can probably get the job no matter what. So it's sort of like a catch-22, But like the real answer is not only free college, but also give people the option of free trade school. So that if they want to specialize in some shit, they could go to. That's what they do in Germany. They give people the option: you want to go to college, or you want to go to trade school. And I think it's free or it's very inexpensive.
Yeah.
So that's what we should do here.
Yeah.
But everything's a scam, so we don't do it.
I just think it'll collapse at some point. Like I think it's starting. Like the tide is starting to turn where people are like, shit is just OD. Like
yeah, well, everything's fake, and so like no institution is trusted anymore, and people are right not to trust it. So people are rethinking even a basic thing like college. It's like I get it.
Well, anyway, back to like the shit. So I was like, I would say I kind of recycle. Like I'll, for the most part, will separate my shit and put most of the recyclables in the recyclable bin. And I do make it a point to cut up the plastic thing
Mhm.
because I have seen some of those videos where that shit gets wrapped around like a duck's neck or something. I'm like, damn, that shit look like if that shit happened to us, like imagine there was something in space that like we just walk and like all of a sudden that shit could get trapped around our neck and then like there's something above us that has to come like splice it off our neck. You know, like
That would be
don't
hilarious.
just randomly walk into a tree and then our like our body just gets like tangled in that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like it kind of sucks to be a duck where you could just be posted up like walking on the beach on like a random Thursday morning and the tide comes in and then you get like this shit around your neck and you have to like hope that there's someone on the beach that's like on some fucking savior shit and has like some scissors or something on them that
then
wants
they'd
to
run
go
away.
chase a duck. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
that wants to go chase after a duck or like an alligator or some shit and like hold it down to take it off their neck.
Alligators have never had this problem, bro.
No, there was no, maybe it was like a seagull or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's like fish. Fish is probably the biggest one because they're.
It might have happened to a crocodile or some shit though. For real, I think I saw a video.
Nobody would give a fuck if it happened to a crocodile.
No, it was
like
caught on its like it's caught on its shit, and the guy had to like hold it closed so he wouldn't get bit.
The crocodile couldn't break that shit by you opening its mouth.
Nah, it was some diesel shit. Like it was some like netted ass shit that was around his face. I'm telling you.
So it wasn't even plastic. It was some net shit.
It was some like net shit. It wasn't like a soda can thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so cut those shits up because that's the least you can do. But all the other recycling things, like I try to do my part, but occasionally I'll sneak some other shit in there because it doesn't fit into like the garbage can.
Yeah, I also recycle, but I'm not exactly sure that it makes sense to recycle. I know that sounds crazy, but like I've never seen a really solid argument that like here's why you need to do it. Because it if you don't recycle it goes to the landfill, it goes to like the garbage dump and they do shit with it there. And I know that there are some people who are really smart, intelligent, lefty who are like, I don't recycle.
Oh, for real? That like
yeah.
I mean, I don't blame them. I like to think that because there's a recycle truck that comes by my house on Monday mornings.
Yeah, that's
and
why
there's a garbage truck that comes by. So I'm like, they must be separating this shit.
Yeah, well, that's why I recycle too, because one day's for the recycling shit, one day's for the garbage. And I'm just like, well, I might as well if it's 2 separate days. Like, okay, here's the recycle shit.
That's
but I don't know why I'm doing it.
Yeah, it could be the same fucking truck.
How many things are like that in our life where we just do it and then we're like, I don't know why I'm doing this shit. Like
Tons of shit.
One of my least popular arguments I ever made is a defense of the spork. You know what a spork is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the spoon fork. Like
I'm big into the spork. I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to like purchase it, but if someone gives me one,
it's genius, dog. Like it's a spoon and a fork.
I think KFC invented the spork.
Did they really?
Like they might be the inventors of that shit because they're the only fast food spot that uses that.
Nah, you made that up though. They didn't invent it for real.
I definitely made it up, but they might have. They might have.
Well, you're saying you get a spork at KFC sometimes.
Yeah. Popeyes might give you that shit too, but like, KFC was the original like spork because they have the mashed potatoes, but then also they know you're gonna get some coleslaw or some mac and cheese or some shit, so they're like, we're just gonna bless you with both of this right now.
Dog, there are metal sporks.
Nah, see, I can't.
Listen, there's not even a reason for a spoon and a fork anymore if there are metal sporks. Like you could have 2 in 1 and eliminate the need for the spoon and the fork.
So why not just make one utensil that has all that shit? Like make a long ass knife that kind of bends.
Genius. Oh, you're a genius.
Like,
nah, that's brilliant, bro. Like you could have the knife on the other end of it and the spork on this end and have a little middle area that's not serrated and knifey. And then bro.
I was even thinking you could put the knife on the end of this shit and have it curve into like a spork. Like you could do it all in one swoop. And then your silverware drawer is just all one utensil.
But I'm trying to picture how the knife wouldn't fuck up the sporkiness of the spork. Because if the knife points out longer than the spork, then you can't. Like if you're going to eat some soup and the knife's sitting in the bottom of the bowl, not
even. It's long enough where it goes out, where like you could get enough knifage. But then at the top, it starts to bend into the spoon fork. So like,
yeah,
it curves on some. Like,
I got you. Oh no, genius. We gotta delete this podcast because somebody's gonna steal our idea and become a billionaire. It's gonna be like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, us. Like billions of dollars from this genius invention. And low-key, earlier today, I had another genius invention that came to mind.
What was
You're
it?
not going to fuck with this one, but, like, this shit needs to be the future of ice cream.
Okay.
Like, first of all, I'm a big defender of the Neapolitan shit because it's
that's the straw. Nah, fuck
chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. Bro.
I might have to give it another chance, but kind of fuck that ice cream OD.
Nah, I love that shit because when I'm eating that shit, I'm having 3 different ice creams at once. I'm having 3 different meals at once. It's like the same effect of having like 4 different sauces you pick from when you're having like some chicken nuggets. You're like, yo, I got the honey mustard, I got the ketchup, I got the barbecue. Like what's this bite going to be like? It's going to be an adventure. It's going to be a new amazing thing because I'm choosing with each individual bite, which might throw some ranch in that bitch too. Genius. So I love the Neapolitan shit. I just had some earlier today.
That's a really good argument.
I was like, yo, right this second, I'm in the mood for some strawberry. Boom, had some strawberry. And I was like, sort of fucking with some vanilla now. Had some vanilla. Maybe I'll throw some chocolate in that bitch too.
The only thing...
I'm a big fan of separating the shit too. Like, low-key, it still tastes good if you have... It's more than 3 flavors at once because if you have the strawberry and the chocolate at the same time or the chocolate and the vanilla at the same time...
It's like a new flavor in itself.
All new flavor, dog. So, but here was my genius idea. I was like, so they got the 3-in-1 shit.
Mm-hmm.
Why hasn't anybody hit us with a 4-in-1 shit? Why can't somebody throw a mint chocolate chip in that bitch where it's vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and mint chocolate chip, or vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and cookie dough ice cream, or cookies and cream? You can mix it with any shit you want. You can have 4 different flavors and put that shit right in one carton, dog.
So here's my kind of counter argument, because you kind of freaked it on the sausage shit. Because like, if McDonald's hit me with some like 3 sauce shit that was all together, I'd be like, this is the fucking smartest thing you've ever done. Like if it was just like, amazing. I didn't have to like individually open each shit, and it was just some 3 shit.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm kind of lost, and I'm an ice cream connoisseur. I've worked at an ice cream store for years. True. So that's as Shaq says, dog. I've got my G15 classification in ice cream. So like, if nobody should write anything about ice cream in the comment section because you don't have the same classifications that I do to speak on this shit. That's true.
That's facts.
I don't like that's like chocolate and vanilla are the pillar ice creams. So when they got the little shit that you get in school, like the cup that has the chocolate
that shit
and vanilla,
is banging. Oh, so good.
Game changer. I think like we could both agree that that's okay. Like
forget
on
it.
Point. You can have chocolate, vanilla, eat it together, separate, mix it up, do whatever you want to do. I don't like that strawberry kind of just like, let me just insert myself into the conversation here and be the flavor that's the third in this shit. You know, like, because what, like, why? Who made strawberry the third of just ice cream? That's my shit. Like that ass. It's like your point. Why isn't mint chocolate chip just the flavor for the Neapolitan or whatever the shit is called? You know, like
like I fuck with what you're saying.
That's where I'm kind of confused. Is like who made strawberry? Like that is the flavor.
I think my point is you can make any 3 or 4 flavors you want in one cart. You don't even have to have the strawberry.
I know, but they don't do that. They do vanilla, chocolate, strawberry.
My point is that we should do that. That's my point.
100%.
That's genius.
Yeah.
You can go to the store and be like, what am I in the mood for today? Let me get the cookies and cream, cookie dough, mint chocolate chip, Rocky Road shit.
And just have a buffet of like that shit, yeah.
And you bought 1 carton of ice cream and you got 4 different ice creams, and you'll never run out of combinations either.
I'm kind of comparing that shit to like what we've always said is like Energizer or somebody creating a battery that never runs out of like batteriness. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, the company's going to want you to buy 3 different ice creams, where if they just put 6 of those bitches in one, you're spending $4 and you're getting, a lifetime of ice cream.
Bro, that's probably why they haven't done it.
That's what I'm saying.
Probably why they haven't done it.
And also, it's kind of a lot. So like when you get a cone, I think 3 is the max of like, they're like, you want 3 scoops? What flavors do you want? And you could be like, oh, I'll have, cookie dough. Give me a scoop of, chocolate and, peanut butter, whatever. Anything on top of 3, once you start mixing, could get a little like sloppy. Like,
so I half agree. I would argue 4 is the max because you still have room in a carton for 4. You could knock out 4 in that shit. But in terms of a cone, I wouldn't even do 3 in a cone. I would only do 2 max in a cone.
Yeah. Three is high scoops. Like the three is a
Yeah,
lot. That's a lot of
that's
ice
like
cream to eat.
the shit is gonna fall as you're eating it high.
Yeah.
You
Or
know,
drip on you or some shit. I'm having
terrible.
a problem lately of like anything I eat, usually because I'm like eating in the car. So like while I'm driving, I'm trying to like scoop it into some barbecue sauce and then quickly like rotate it to my mouth without that shit dripping.
Hmm.
And since I'm so focused on like the drip always happens.
Yeah, that's happened to me too recently, bro. I fucked up a lot of pieces of clothing from
How
that.
frustrating is that shit, man? Because it's like, and it happens even more. It almost happens like this happens all the time, even when you put on like a fresh ass pair of shoes or something, and you're just so worried about not scuffing them or stepping in some shit that like normally you would never do. But when you are so focused on not doing it, you usually do it.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Like I remember judging um one one of the kids
Hmm.
because he always gets shit on him,
Yeah.
and I would be like, how do you always get shit on? I didn't say it to him, but I was like, how do you like straight up looks like you didn't get any food in your mouth, dog. And then as soon as I had that judgy ass thought for the next like 2 weeks, I'm just dripping shit on myself left and right.
Yep.
And it's just the worst kind of shit too. I got like pizza sauce on it one time, and that's like that shit doesn't come out no matter
Taco
what.
Bell beef's not coming out. Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
shit leaves a mark for a second. And like I had a fresh ass cookies and cream milkshake, and whew, don't get me started on this shit. Like we stopped because one of the kids in the back was doing. I forgot why we stopped, but Molly wanted. Oh, I like was drinking that shit. Oh, so good. It was from Chick-fil-A too, and sometimes their shit is like just bomb. Like they got like good cookies and cream shake. I was drinking that shit, and it was like late at night. Molly was like, "Nix wants a sip. Like pass it back to her." I was like, "That's the worst idea ever."
Oh, I see where this is going.
Pass that shit back. Fresh ass shit too. Like I took like two sips. The whole shit spilt in the back seat. Like
Oh,
all over like milky fucking cookies and cream shit. I was so
oh.
pissed, man. And
Yeah,
it's
no, I'd
still
be
like
pissed
fucking
too.
residue like in a car too. So like buttons are sticky now
Oh,
and shit. Like you know when it gets sticky like in the button and you can't
mm,
even like clean that shit?
mm,
Like the back button of the shit I was trying to change the
yeah.
station was like all sticky.
Oh,
Like did someone like jizz all over your like dashboard or some shit? But it was
and
just like old cookies and cream.
and you wanted to pull the veto too, but you were just like, damn.
I knew exactly what was gonna happen. And here's another thing. I think a motherfucker set me up at White Castle too, because he was laughing when this shit happened. Luckily, it was water. He gave it to me, and like he knew the top wasn't on like
Oh,
all the way. It was one of those like fake
oh,
like shits. So as
oh,
soon as I grabbed the cup, like my pressure on it was like gonna push the top off. So I
oh,
saw that it wasn't on there, but I was like, I'm gonna kind of override this dude and be like, I'm still gonna grab it. But he got me. I grabbed it and the shit spilt, and he was like laughing.
oh,
I was like, fuck you, man.
oh. You think that was a prank, or you think it was just laziness?
I think he was probably just bored and like was like, let me just not put this shit
He
on all the way.
wanted to cause some chaos type
Yeah, he
shit.
just wanted to like laugh.
I never vibe like I never understood people like that. There are a lot of people like that too. People who just
Want to fuck with people.
want to fuck with people and want
Yeah.
to see chaos. I never understood that shit. What is it about that people like?
Here's my thing. Like I tend to use like humor. Like I try to be funny, and sometimes I'll be funny by like dissing on someone or some shit, which like Molly will be like, oh, like it's not funny if you have to like say some shit about someone to like get people to laugh. But I don't think I do that too often.
It also depends on the context.
That too.
If
Yeah.
it's your
And
boy, then you could say whatever you want. Like that's
yeah.
just how it is.
Yeah. But I would never do like some shit like to me, getting someone tight like that is not funny. Like having water spill on
Yeah,
them or doing
that's what
some
I'm
shit
saying.
that's like
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
yeah.
That's not funny.
Like pranks. Like that like pranks to me are corny as fuck. Like if someone did some shit where I
Yes.
stepped in some like pudding, I'd
Yeah,
be like, that's dumb.
that's the shit. It's funny because yes, I agree with your point completely. When it comes to like fucking around with people verbally,
Mhm.
I'm basically like anything goes type dude.
Yeah.
Like you could say whatever, and if I know you and we're cool, I'll roll with it. Like
Yep.
that's just how it is.
Yep.
So when it comes to words, anything goes. When it comes to actual pranks, I don't even a little one. I'm like, fuck you. Like, you
Yep.
just threw a wrench in my shit for real. Even if it's like the most minor prank. Because it's just obnoxious. Like, to
Yep.
give somebody an actual pause of like, what the fuck? I don't want that, man. And you know what? Those people, the people who enjoy like hell raising and chaos, it's like, they never do the basic shit of like, how would I feel like if somebody did this to me?
Yeah.
You know, they never do that.
Nope.
And it's like, well, fuck you. You got to do that shit.
Yep.
You know, you got to think about how you would feel if the roles were reversed. But a lot of people just don't do that.
Yep. They like Kenny Martin was the best. I think they tried to prank him in Denver one time and like filled his car up with popcorn or some shit. And it was like some prank, and like I think they had done it to someone else, and they did it to him, and he kind of was just like pissed, and was just like, "What do you like? Don't ever do this." And he like got tight at people because he was like, "Why would you fill my car up with popcorn?"
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's like you reminded me of the hazing. We've had this conversation on the podcast years ago, but how like hazing for fraternities is stupid.
Oh yeah, all
You
that
know?
stuff is dumb.
Yeah, it's
But even like
and-
high school pranks, like putting Post-it notes all over someone's car or doing some shit
yeah, it's
that like
stupid.
inconveniences you, so you have to then like
Yeah,
after
don't
you laugh, take a second to like take all this shit off your car or like
fuck that. Yeah, don't inconvenience people. That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
even
But
like drawing a penis on someone's like dusty ass car is kind of like not funny. Like maybe
yeah, that's obnoxious. Why the fuck is fuck you? What if the person doesn't even see that shit? They're driving around with a fucking dick on their car, like.
like someone who writes "wash me" on a dirty car is just like, don't do that. We clearly all see that the car needs to be washed.
Yeah. And also, to your point, you said a point years ago that at the time I didn't agree with, but I've since come to 100% agree with it. When you had a car at the time. I don't remember what car it was,
Mm-hmm.
but it was some old shit. And then Henry was like,
yeah.
yo, your shit's a little dirty. And then you were like, this shit is sort of supposed to be dirty. And I was like, what? Like, that makes no sense. But no, it does make sense. There's a certain vibe and a certain kind of car where if you're putting effort into that car, that's almost more pathetic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 100%,
So like,
yeah.
I don't think I've had my car. No, wrong. I've had it washed once since I've owned it, and it's from like 2016. And like, my shit is just dirty. That's just what it is. I don't have a BMW. I don't have a Maserati.
I think I even hit you with that shit one time. Like, yo, this shit is like kind of like dirty on the outside. You're gonna go wash? You're like, that's just what this car. Like, you were like, that's just it. Like,
True,
if it rains, it'll get cleaned or some shit. But I'm not like this car is doing what it's supposed to do. It's taking me from my shit to the other shit. I'm not trying to like win a car show contest, anything. Like the response you gave me kind of to like what you're saying was just on some like, this is how this car is supposed to be. Like it's like a beat up pair of jeans or some shit.
Yeah, that's like nobody's gonna. If I get my fucking car cleaned, my 2016 Subaru, nobody's gonna look at it when it rides down the road like, damn, that shit is fresh.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna say that. Like, so what's the point? Why would I do it? It's such a waste of time. Even if it takes me 15 minutes to drive to the car wash and get it cleaned and then come back, it's like, well, why did I waste that 15 minutes? Like, who gives a fuck?
Yo, low key. So I have a Traverse and I love that shit. And so occasionally I like got to get
That's
it
the
cleaned.
most dad comment you've ever made.
No, it's like a G Traverse. It's like all black. I got black rim. Like it looks G, but yes, it is like a dad car. I don't give a fuck. I would have drove like a Caravan too, but the Traverse shit was kind of chilling. But I was underneath a fucking train in Chicago and like the oil came down on my windshield. So I got that off. But there's like two other spots that I guess it was there and the sun hit it. So there's like oil, like stain. Like it looks like a tattoo that got removed or some shit. And like the outskirts of the stain is still there. So if anybody's got any tips on how to get like fucking oil stain off a car, holla at me because that shit kind of got me tight.
Did you lease it or do you own it?
I leased that, but we'll eventually probably buy that car.
Yes, and that's why you got to get it clean too, because they'll dock you on some shit when you bring it in, and if it's got any.
I mean, it's not bad. Like it's not bad at all, but like I know where the one spot is that like I got the shit cleaned, and you could still see it.
Yeah, that's sort of obnoxious from the train to do that.
Mad obnoxious, and it's like don't put train tracks over like the city if your shit's gonna be leaking, or make sure your fucking trains are not leaking oil onto some cars, because I couldn't get to like a gas station in like downtown Chicago for a minute. So like I had this brown grease shit on my windshield, and I was like, I tried to do the spritzer, it didn't come off. It just like spread it more. And then I
Oh,
tried wiping it, and it was like all fucked up. And like, you can't have some crusty ass trains if them shits are gonna be leaking on cars.
yeah, nah, 100% agree. In fact, I have the controversial opinion, which is probably a popular opinion, that like if you're driving down the road and you hit a big ass pothole and you get a flat tire, the fucking city should have to pay for that
That's a
shit.
good. I was just gonna say that shit. Like, I should be able to find the city
Yeah,
$100 to like give me a
absolutely.
car wash or detailed car wash.
Yes, you should. Yes, and if somebody gets a flat tire, the city should pay for that new tire and all the
Yeah.
labor. Because like you didn't fucking put that pothole there,
And I'm
and the
just like driving the speed limit. Like, if there's proof I was driving the speed limit and your pothole fucked up my tire, yeah, no, that's. I was driving in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. Fuck Cleveland, Ohio. The road was like, it was like a fucking war zone in all of Ohio. I was like,
damn.
dude, like, is this street from like 1877? Because that shit, like, was like there was fucking like horses and carriages, like craters on that bitch. So if you're in Cleveland, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. But the roads suck out there. Like, every road I turned on was on some shit where my car was like bouncing and shaking and like pothole. I was like, what the fuck?
That's why like local government is important. But I'm gonna go a step further. Even if you're not going the speed limit, they should have to pay for your tire shit.
Yeah.
Because Loki, okay, let me ask you this question. What do you think the speed limit should be? Like, let's say on the highway on I-95. What should the actual speed limit be?
I think like 75 is chilling.
I was going to say 80. I
Oh,
was going to say 80.
yeah.
Now we're talking. Now here's what we're talking. We're talking, you know what? Okay, you could pull me over type shit. If you're actually going like 85, yeah, I can see like there's an argument. Come on, man, reel it in a little bit. That's a little bit too fast. But even if you're going 80 on I-95 and it's clear, like
Yeah,
you're
you should be good.
chilling, you're fine. Like you're not really doing anything wrong,
Yep.
you know? So
That's
like
what.
I
Yeah.
don't like how the speed limit's lower than what everybody knows people drive at,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
they say the shit is like 65.
that's
Like,
why. Yeah, I feel like the whole. I said this to Molly, and it was like, I kind of hate that like cops make it on some like they go out of their way to be like secretive of where they hide to try and trap you and shit. Like, it shouldn't be like that. And like the fact that like, yeah, to your point, if there's nobody on the road and you're just cruising and like you see a cop like hiding in some shit and you like slam on your brakes to slow down, there should be no ticket for that. Like, it's one more dangerous to like slow down and stop on your brakes if you see a cop type of shit. But if there's nobody on the road and they're trying to hide and get you on some shit, it's like there's no reason for that.
bro, the number of tickets I've gotten going to DC, like I can't even tell you. I can't even count the number of tickets. I've had to pay probably thousands of dollars in
Dead
tickets
ass.
since I've
Your
been going to DC.
license is probably like. Do you get
No,
points?
but I paid them. I paid the
Oh
tickets.
no,
So
but
if you pay them, you don't get the points.
Oh, that's what's up then.
Yeah. So,
But the fact that like they like cops will just hide in a neighborhood to try and catch you on some shit,
it's super fucked up. And you know what? They know it's fucked up. They know
Yeah.
you're just like harassing people who aren't doing shit wrong. So I never try to. I'm the most straightforward motherfucker in the world when they pull me over.
Well, you're
Like,
just
do you
like, I
know
knew
why
I
we
was
pulled
speeding.
you over? Yes. Why did we pull you over? I was going 87 miles an hour. And
Damn.
either gives me a ticket or doesn't. You know.
Have you gotten out of any of them? Like,
Yeah, some of them.
That's
One
what's up.
time, there was maybe two times I got out of it. One time, the dude pulled me over, but he literally had just pulled me over like a week or two before.
No way.
Yeah,
The same guy?
I was like, "What's up, man? You pulled me over like last week or 2 weeks ago." And he took my license and shit and my insurance or registration or whatever, and he went back to the car, and then he came back and he's like, "All right, I'll let you off with the warning." And I was
That's
like,
actually mad funny in respect to that guy.
yeah, because he probably feels like shit. I just gave this guy a ticket. Like, why would I give him another ticket?
But it's funny that was the same guy.
One of those times, it wasn't like I wasn't even going. Maybe one of the times I was going sort of crazy over the limit, maybe going 85 or something like that. But then one of the times it was like 78 or some shit.
Yeah, see, that's OD. Like, there's no need, and then you just feel like scared. I just hate the fact that it's all like on some like they try to be discreet about this shit, like it's really for some safety shit. It's not. It's like to just fucking make money.
Do you think they have a quota. They have to have a quota, right? Like you have to give
100%.
out X number of tickets every month.
And every cop that you ask that you know, like there's a cop that's your boy, or there's probably a cop listening, they'll be like, nah, there is none. Like that shit's some unwritten rule that like you sign day one. Like when your boy asks you if there's a quota for tickets at the end of the month, you got to say no. And like you got to check some box that like for 20 years you'll say no to this question. But if you get a cop, like if you corner a cop who's cool, he'll be like, yeah, we got that. We got a quota on that shit.
They have to, right? Like, but just do shit that people would actually want you to do. Like, I don't know why all the cops aren't just investigating like murders and assaults and robberies and Wall Street. Like, investigate some real shit. Don't fucking harass people. Parking tickets too, dog. In DC, you're gonna love this. This is a crazy story.
Parking tickets
in DC. So, at the apartment that we're at, Crystal gets like she has a parking shit.
Yeah,
it's like a parking spot shit. And actually, it's kind of they have at the apartment thing like it's almost like a car elevator thing. Like you pull it in and then it takes it down. And
oh yeah, I've seen that in like New York City. Like they put shit in an elevator.
It sounds like mad expensive and like on point, but the shit is broken like 50% of the time, and it takes a while to get your shit out. It's actually
probably impossible to fix. How the fuck would someone fix a car elevator?
You want to talk about impossible? They needed a part for it because it broke during COVID at one point, and they had to ship in the part from like Germany or some shit.
I believe it. I don't even know how motherfuckers fix like when I go to a hotel, and it was in Cleveland, Ohio again. Man, I hope we don't have anybody listening from Cleveland, Ohio, because that shit is like, you need to pack up your shit and move out of that city because it was cold and everything was broken and the roads sucked. But anyway, I mean, shout out to Cleveland. You guys are trying hard. But the hotel, like the elevator was all fucked up. And like they were dudes in the elevator shaft like fixing shit. And my first thought was like, how the fuck are they going to get like that heavy ass shit moving again? Like,
yeah,
that's not on some like you just like something's broken in your light fixture and you fix that. Like they got to get some heavy ass shit that holds people, like multiple people. A fat dude, skinny dude, like a wheelchair can roll into that bitch. Like they got to get that shit moving up like to like mad levels.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how they do it. There's no way
to like test on the ground floor if your shit's going to be good at level 17 when you get there. You don't know. So whatever you're doing, like, is kind of on some like, we're gonna fix this shit, but if it gets to level 17, that shit might drop back down.
Yeah. So all right. So you just now after I tell my parking story, I got to talk about elevators too because I have a jihad against elevators.
Yeah.
I hate elevators, dog.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that 100%. But back to the parking shit. So like I don't have a spot like she does, and so I got to park on the street, right? And DC is DC, like any big city. Like it's tough to park.
Yep.
And so there's this spot that I parked at for a hot minute. Well, there's one spot right outside of the apartment building where I used to be able to park. And then for whatever reason, the DC decided to crack down like after a few months, and they were like, nobody could even park on the street anymore.
Corrupt
it went from being able to park there to now nobody could park there at all. And they'll like crack down on you if you do that shit.
Yep.
So then I had to find a new spot. Okay, I found a new spot. It was whatever. I was using that spot for like a year, basically. Like I would find roughly the same spot that would be open, and I'd have to walk a block or two, but it was whatever. It was doable, right? Tell me how in DC, this is some shit that happens often. They will tow your shit and just move it like 3 blocks over. I remember
they'll like repark your car for you?
Basically. Like I remember calling, I walked out to go to my car one day. Up. And that shit was gone. I was like, oh, fuck. They towed my shit.
Yeah.
Worst feeling ever, especially because I got a show I got to do. I got to be there in like 20, 30 minutes, and I don't have time. And so I remember, so the other thing that's annoying, so I call to figure out where that shit is.
Yeah, how'd you even know? That's what I'm saying. How the fuck would you even know what or where?
I had to Google like DC car towed, and the numbers that came up, I called. So the first time I call, like I'm expecting it to be towed. They told me like, oh no, your shit is like 3 blocks over. Here's the, where it is on the street. And I was like, oh, okay. And so then I walked to that shit and got it. So, but that happened. This has happened to me like 3 or 4 times, dog.
Do you have to pay?
Yeah, you get a ticket.
Okay,
that's like
okay. I thought they
$80
just
or
like
some shit. They leave
move
it on
your
your
shit for
window.
you conveniently.
Nah, that's still inconvenient. Just leave my shit where it is. But anyway, because they didn't fucking actually need to tow
No,
it.
of
Like
course
they're just
not.
being assholes.
Yeah.
But there were at least 2 times that I called where I would call and tell them like, "Hey, my car was just here. You guys either towed it or moved it. Can you tell me where it is?" And they'd be like, "What's your license plate number?" I'm like,
I don't
I don't
know.
know my whole shit off the top of my head.
Yup.
So so 2 times that I called, I would be like, I don't remember the whole shit, but the first 3 are do. Like I would tell them what the numbers are, right?
Yeah.
And
You're probably like the only New York shit in that shit too.
they gave me an attitude when I didn't know my whole shit. I was like, my shit is do. It starts with that, and it's a Subaru, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Sir, we can't help you unless you tell us the entire license plate number." I was like, I don't know the license plate number. Like, what do you want? What about your insurance? You call your insurance to get it. I'm like, I don't know my fucking insurance number, that like 16-digit long shit. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? But then get
That's
this.
even the worst shit to know. It's like, you don't know your license plate number? All right, tell us your mom's
Social
first
security
cell phone number or some shit. Like.
Yeah, exactly. So, but here's what happened. So, like the first time I called, I got that, and then I would just hang up the phone, call back, and get a different person, and they would give me the shit I needed. I'd be like, the first 3 letters are this, and they'd be like, oh, okay, your shit is on 17th Street, blah blah blah. And I'm
you
like,
just got like the person that was just not.
And there was one time she was insistent as fuck that like, I can't help you unless you have the whole shit. I was like, well, if you use the first 3 and you look it up, maybe it'll pop up. And they're just like, no, you need the whole shit. And I call back and they're like, oh, the first 3? Okay, cool. We got it. Do. And they put it in. Dog. Terrible feeling. Anyways, so fuck
I give you props for even knowing the first 3. I don't know any of my shit.
Yeah, it's a miracle I even remember the first 3, bro. It's a miracle I
really impressive because I hate parking in major cities because I just like get anxiety with signs and like finding a spot. But in Chicago, everywhere is paid. So you gotta park, and wherever you are on the street, they have like a meter box shit, but that shit could be like all the way at the end of the street. It's in like zones. So that box shit could be at the end of like the block, but you're parked at the beginning of the block. It's guaranteed. Every time I park, I'll go walk to that shit, and it's like, what's your plate number? I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
So I got to either like look or walk all the way back down to see it. I don't even know if my shit starts with a letter, a number. There could be a fucking smiley face on my license plate. I got no idea what's on my shit. I've typed it in fairly recently, parking in the city, but like if I would have called that place and they were like, "Can you give us any?" I would just be like, "I have no idea what my license plate number is."
Yeah, I mean, if you're lucky, you could just tell them
like the state in the car or something.
Car is, the make and model of your car, Chevy Traverse, black, whatever. And then if you get a nice person, they'll be able to hook it up. But if I had gotten somebody who's an asshole 2 or 3 times in a row, I just wouldn't have been able to get my fucking car. I wouldn't have known where it was. Like,
that's wild. So they just like tow your shit and put it into like a spot?
You just move it because like I guess the spot that I parked at, it has like a limit for how many hours you could park there, and some asshole knocked me on it a few times, and so yeah, they just move it somewhere else. But now let's get to elevators because you brought up elevators.
Yeah.
So I fucking hate elevators. I hate them with a burning passion. I hate those shits. I don't trust those shits. Like,
I don't trust them.
Like, think about what it does. Number one, to your point, like it's like a fucking weird pulley system where drags up this heavy ass box, this death box that you're in, and this fucking claustrophobic
like people in it,
mad people in it. And like, think about how lax regulations are for everything in this country. Like, there's no cop on the beat. Nobody's like looking after the products that are made. And you're telling me
if we got buildings falling and shit, like
exactly in Miami, all those buildings falling, like
you're telling me the fucking elevators are probably woof.
You're telling me I'm in a building that was built in like 1974. It's got some old ass elevator.
The technology on an elevator from back then.
And I'm supposed to feel like we're good. No, obviously they're not. They put the elevators in and then nobody fucking thinks about it for years and years and years. And like if some shit happened, there's going to come a day where we're going to hear about it's going to be like 3 or 4 elevator accidents that happen over the course of like a week. And we're going to be like, We knew that shit was fucking coming. It's just like the shit I say about the microwave. Like one day we're gonna learn, like if you eat a lot of microwave food, you're gonna die. Like you get cancer mad young. Like, and
100%.
we're all gonna be like, why did we ever think the microwaves would have been safe? Like it's the same shit for that. And so I would, at the building we're on the 4th floor, and I remember for the longest time I would just not use I just walk up the stairs. I'd be like, fuck it, I'm walking up the stairs every time. But then when I hurt my leg,
Oh yeah, you
I
got
was
to.
like, oh fuck, I gotta take the elevator. And I hate, even to this day, I hate that shit. But there was one time Crystal got stuck in the fucking elevator, and it like verified my fears about it.
For like a
And I
long
don't even
time?
know, it didn't end up being a long time, but it
Even
was
some
like,
15-minute type shit is
but
still
that's
on
what I'm
some like
saying. It may have been like 5 minutes, but like
you're
that's
literally just
five
dangling
minutes,
in the
dog.
air.
I would have, that 5 minutes would have felt like 5 hours to me.
Yeah.
And she was mad chill about it. She was like, she texted me like stuck in the elevator, LOL. I'm like
Nah,
I
that's not an
legitimately was
LOL.
like, that's not an LOL at all. Like I'm picturing that shit like falling and crashing on the bottom floor, and I'm like, because if that shit stalls out and makes a weird noise, which she said it did, you don't know what the fuck is coming next.
No.
And she was mad chill about it. I was like, yo, how, like, what? I would have, if I was in that shit, it would have been a wrap. I would have had a panic attack. I probably would have died of some panic attack shit in the 5 minutes it took them to find me. They would have found me laid out on the ground, dog.
That's what I'm saying. Well, one, I think I got caught in the shit for like maybe like 2 minutes or some shit that like the door didn't
Oh,
open, and it
oh,
was on some like it might have just been like a delayed opening, but like
oh.
me and the person in the elevator like gave each other a look like we like something's happening, right?
Oh.
And actually like the door wasn't like closing or some shit, or it closed and then opened up, but I pushed the button to go up and it didn't work, and the girl was still standing in the elevator, and I was like, I'm getting out this bitch, like I'm going to the other elevator. But then back to Ohio, when I saw those dudes working on the elevator, like they're standing on top of this shit at the ground floor, like in their hard hat, and they gave me like a little like, how you doing? Was like, you guys don't look like some scientist ass dudes that know like that you're gonna make this shit work. So even later on in the day, I asked the dude at the front desk, like, elevator is good. He was like, yep, everything should be all fine. I was like, yeah, nah, fuck that shit. Like, I'll walk up whatever. And to your point, it was like maybe the 4th floor or some shit. But I wasn't chancing that shit because those dudes, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And like, they didn't know. They did, like, did they stand on top of the elevator to make sure that shit rode up to like the 5th floor and like they were good? There's no way that they like could check that shit.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's just, it's too fragile an idea. Like it's not a good idea, you know? But then again, I'm oversensitive too because everybody knows I hate planes. And like planes just strike me as crazy. Like you're going 500 or 600 miles an hour and you're thousands of feet in the air and like you're in a little metal tube. It's like that shit is crazy. If you went back and told Thomas Jefferson about a fucking plane, he'd be like, "What? Like no, we should ban that shit."
Yeah. But like at least they're fixing parts that like, yeah, elevators, I mean, planes are bad too, but like to have
But
to
I undermine my argument though because planes low key are actually really safe according to the statistics.
yeah.
But my point is, if you happen to be one of the people who dies in a plane crash, as that shit is going down, you're gonna be like, "I'm so stupid." Like the
I
whole
should have known
idea,
this shit could have happened.
yeah, of getting in that metal tube going 600 miles an hour, like, of course this shit is gonna fuck up from time to time, bro. I watched the thing the other day, man. A helicopter and a plane collided in air, bro. And it was over the Hudson River in New York. I forget what year it was. 2008 or 2011 or some
Oh,
shit.
like fairly recent. Like the plane was taking off and there was an elevator just right there. An elevator.
Our brains were great. Yeah, it was a plane that was flying, and it was like a helicopter tour, and the tour had gone a little bit off the route, and that shit just pow,
That
blew up.
shit always
Everybody died,
happens.
and yeah, I looked at that and I was like, oh my god, man, like that's just a little mistake, and it just all those people are dead. It's terrifying.
Yeah, fuck elevators. I mean, like the car elevator shit is like, I'd be good because I'm not in my car when it goes up. So if the elevator kind of collapsed and my car collapsed, like that's good. But like being in some high ass elevator and then that shit, that's a fear that's on some like, I mean, you could kind of test it out if you go to Disney and do the they got that ride, the house, how It's like one of the haunted house shits, right?
Mm.
Where it's like the elevator drops a whole bunch of floors.
Oh,
I forgot what it's called, the
oh,
House of Terror or some shit.
oh, I wouldn't like that shit at
But
all.
but it's yeah, you like are on an elevator. I think you're sitting down, and it's like going, and then it just like drops,
Oh,
and then it like it opens up again, and then
fuck
it
that.
drops.
I hate,
Yeah.
I hate, I never liked amusement park shit where you get thrown around in the air
No,
and
all that
whatnot.
shit sucks. Like
Yeah, I don't like that shit at all. Some people love it. They can't wait to get on a roller coaster and go a zillion miles an hour and go
that shit is
upside down and inside
the
out.
dumbest
I
shit to
hate it.
me.
I can't do it. Bro, imagine living in a building and being on like the 72nd floor. Like looking
Nah,
out the window from seven because they were saying that like there's like a really tall building, like the tallest building in New York City, maybe it was, or
yeah, there's
tallest
some
like
tall shit now
residential
that
shit.
yeah,
And they were talking about how it's built so that it like waves in the wind a little bit, so
yeah,
that
it's wild.
that actually makes it more safe. They say that it waves as opposed to if there's no give in it, then it's actually more dangerous. But like, could you imagine being on like 72nd floor? You look down out of your window and it's like just a zillion miles to the ground.
Nah,
And like, if it's a super windy day and you can feel like the little wave in that shit, like, what are we doing? What
I
has
need my
happened?
building to be some like chode ass, like little ass shit, like that's just like mad compact to the ground. Like when I think of like a apartment building, I think of like Henry Mayo's toes, like just like some small ass, compact ass little feet shit. That's just low to the ground, and it's like if this shit fell, I'm on level 2, and I'll just be like still standing, good money. Like if this shit fall, like just some little ass building shit.
Yeah, if a building collapses, what floor do you want to be in? Because if you're up high, you're sort of fucked. But also, if you're on like the first floor, all that shit is falling on top of you, so you're also fucked.
Yeah, like
So like,
like 3 stories is good.
yeah, is that the sweet spot? Three
Yeah,
stories?
gotta be, gotta be. Like you can survive on 3. Anything above that shit, it's a wrap.
Wait, what floor is it that they like buildings don't have it? Do buildings not have like a seventh floor or some shit?
Oh yeah, maybe or like yeah,
What
seventh
the
floor.
fuck is up
Is
with that?
it might be no, it might be 13, like the 13th floor or button or something like that.
Why do buildings not have a 13th floor?
Is it? It might be 13.
All right, let me see. Early tall building designers, fearing a fire on the 13th floor or fearing tenant superstitions about the rumor, decided to omit having a 13th floor listed on their elevator numbering. This practice became commonplace and eventually found its way into American mainstream culture and building design.
So
Whoa.
13th.
Yeah, but what? How did that start? Was there a fire at a 13th floor at
That's
some
kind of
place?
wild that like
Oh,
caught on like that.
13 is considered unlucky. Hmm. Yeah, but if you're on the 14th floor, that shit is still the 13th floor. It's the 13th floor up.
It's a good point. Yeah, there's just no button for it.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
I actually
Eight.
saw on Friday the 13th, we were driving home from a baseball game, and I saw a black cat in my driveway. That shit was kind of like bugged out.
Oh,
And there's usually like a black cat on my like street. Like sometimes that shit'll be down the road or like it wasn't rare to see a black cat, but the fact that on Friday the 13th that shit was just like in my driveway chilling, like I had to wait for it to move, which was kind of like bugged out a little bit. And I'm not
that
really
is
into
bugged
like
out.
those
That is
like
bugged out. There was a full ass moon the other night too. It
yeah,
wasn't
what
technically a full moon.
I feel like I've said this before. I feel like every couple years they're like this shit won't happen for 97,000 more years. And then it's like some crazy moon that they're like this shit won't happen for not like there was a New York Times headline. Maybe it was fake, but I saw it on Twitter. It was like asteroid the size of whatever is coming towards the Earth that will hit it, and like someone retweeted it and put above. He's like, "Y'all say this shit like every 3 years and it never hits." So like some.
Now they do a lot of clickbait headlines on those asteroid articles.
Yeah,
They
like, it
say
was some
like,
asteroid that like is the size of whatever, and you're like, "Holy shit!"
yeah, and it says like
That
it
shit never
will.
hits.
Yeah, well, when you click the link and read it, it always says like it's gonna miss us by only 13 million miles, which is actually really close in astrological terms. And you're like,
Like if that shit's gonna hit us, just tell if it's gonna hit us. If it's not, then just save the article.
but here's the scary thing: they have no idea about when shit is gonna hit us because they can't monitor the whole fucking
But that
area.
shit's never. We have some protective shit. Like sometimes when I buy some fresh pairs of sneakers, they're like, "Do you want to buy the shit that you could put on the outside of your sneakers that like just if you step in mud, water, motherfucker pisses on your shoe, you're good." The Earth, I think, just has some shit around it that
So
like
it does
blocks
for,
everything.
it does for like smallish asteroids. It burns up on the way into hitting the ground, like in our atmosphere, it burns up.
Yeah.
But when they're big enough, that doesn't happen. They could actually hit us. No, there was an asteroid that took out the dinosaurs. Asteroid killed dinosaurs.
So that's why the dinosaurs went extinct, because of a big ass asteroid?
Yep. And it was 6.2 miles in diameter, and it struck the Earth. And it had.
But we don't know if that shit really happened.
No, they know. There's enough evidence of it. The other thing is, I don't know if you ever heard of the Tunguska explosion?
No, but that shit sounds kind of gangster though.
Okay, so Tunguska is, I think it's a place in Siberia. It's called the Tunguska event. It was a 12 megaton explosion that occurred in Siberia. Now, thankfully, Siberia is like empty as fuck.
Yeah.
Because it's super fucking cold there, so super snowy.
Where's Siberia? Is that shit in Africa?
Siberia is in Russia. I think it's technically in Russia. And basically, how many nuclear bombs was this the equivalent of?
Damn, it was like that?
Oh, it was worse than like that. It was like the equivalent of like, I don't know.
That shit must have happened in like year 2.
No. So this is the crazy part. You ready? What year did it happen? The Tunguska event was a 12 megaton explosion that occurred near blah, 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 Russia in the morning of June 30th, 1908. So it wasn't that long ago, 1908. And it was so powerful that it flattened 80 million trees over 2,150 kilometers. That's 830 square miles. So it was basically like hundreds or thousands of nuclear bombs exploding because it was an asteroid that landed in the middle of Siberia. Now, we just got fucking lucky that shit hit in Siberia. If that shit hit in like New York or LA.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's never been some shit where it's like, we must be like in a good ass hiding spot. Like, we're in some shit where we're hiding underneath the desk, or we're hiding in some spot that like no one can find us. Because there's never been some, it's not like there was like, you heard about the Harlem bomb, and it's like some shit happened in Harlem back in like 1917 that flattened all of Harlem. Like, there is no New York shit. There is no like, you heard about the South Bronx explosion or something?
You're actually sort of pushing me more in the other direction though, because that makes me feel like we're overdue for one of these shit.
We're definitely overdue for that shit. And the only reason I feel like the shit might happen, and I've said this before, because movies kind of are like the thing that tells me we're on to something. So like Day After Tomorrow, doing all the like freezing over and global warming type shit, means directors in Hollywood, they're tapped into like the government and everything that's happening. So like they're writing scripts based off of shit they're hearing, like confidential shit from like the government. So there was that movie, I forgot who it was, but it was actually pretty dope. But like there was like a comet or some shit coming to Earth, and they had to like escape. They had to get on some plane, and they went to like this like cave shit. I forgot what the movie was called, but it was actually dope. And it happened in like Atlanta or some shit, like the explosion. So it makes me think that like we're due for some comet ass shit to hit like somewhere here in the US.
Bro, there's a number of like extinction event type things that can happen at like any time. Let me look it up. I watched a good like History Channel thing on this. Here, let me see if I could just give the extinction events. Oh no, wait, they're giving me the historic extinction events. One of them is like the Earth's magnetic pole shifting. That's one of them. Another one is like a giant solar flare.
That's like shit that could hit the Earth?
Yeah, like I gotta figure out how to phrase this Google shit, but I put extinction events.
Oh, and that's all shit that could happen that like
humans really can go extinct. Okay, let's see. 5 ways humans might become extinct. Okay. 11 extremely likely ways humans will go extinct. Let me click this first article. 5 ways humans might become extinct. Synthetic virus.
What the
That's
hell's that?
that's
What's
number one. It's
synthetic?
just a virus that's man-made.
Oh, so that's like
Um,
some fucking
oh,
COVID shit.
kind of. Here's the next one. Super volcano eruption. I forgot about super volcanoes.
So some shit in Hawaii could reach us?
Nah, super volcano. So there's a super volcano in Yellowstone National Park in the U.S. And if that shit goes off, it could block out the sun and send the Earth into an ice age, and it would destroy all the food production, and like we would just be fucked.
There's a volcano in Yellowstone, isn't that shit in like Idaho or some shit?
I
Or is
don't
Yellowstone
know,
in California?
I don't actually know the state it's in. I don't think it's California, but I don't know the state it's in. But super volcanoes are some shit. And then artificial intelligence they have is the third thing that AI can somehow make us go extinct. Nuclear apocalypse is number 4. Antibiotic resistance is number 5.
Wait, Yellowstone's in Wisconsin?
Yellowstone stretches, doesn't it stretch multiple states? Or I
Oh
know
no. Yellowstone's in Wyoming.
I know the super volcano stretches like a ridiculous.
There's a Yellowstone Lake State Park in Wisconsin, but there's a Yellowstone National Park is in Wyoming, but it's close to Idaho. So maybe it's close to Idaho, but also like close to it's close to like mad shit, like whatever's to the left of North Dakota. So yeah, if that shit or Yellowstone Park is in San Diego. There's mad Yellowstone. They should have copyrighted that shit because there's one in New York too. What the fuck?
There's a super volcano in New York?
No, just Yellowstone Park.
Oh.
I think it's Yellowstone like National Park, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
All right, so Vox article, ways humans can go extinct. Number 1, nuclear war. That's the obvious one. Number 2, biological and chemical warfare. Number 3, catastrophic climate change. That's the one that's actually going to get us, and it's going to be slow. Or it's slow until it's not. Until, like, there's droughts and there's wars over water and all sorts of shit.
Which one was that?
Climate change.
Oh, yeah.
4, ecological collapse. I think that's also kind of part and parcel of climate change. 5, pandemics. 6, asteroid impact. 7, supervolcanic eruption. 8, solar geoengineering. Whoa, what's that? There's a dramatic option for stopping or even reversing rising global temperatures, but it comes with significant possible risk. Solar geoengineering would reflect light and heat away from the Earth and back into space by injecting aerosols into the atmosphere, the second layer of Earth's atmosphere. For now, it only exists in computer models, but the first experiment is being planned by Harvard researchers. Okay, so they're saying if solar geoengineering goes wrong, that could fuck us. Number 9, artificial intelligence. And then they put number 10, unknown risks. I don't know. The magnetic poles one they're not showing, but that was in the
That was a
thing
list of 10, and the 10th they were just like some
we
shit.
don't know. Yeah.
Like just make a list of 9 because 10 was just some like they just want to
Yeah, really. That was obnoxious of them.
have a top 10 list, and their 10 shit was just like something might happen.
All right, so the magnetic fields flipping.
That shit sounds too confusing. Like that shit is like that doesn't sound realistic because there's so much shit that I feel like has to happen on some.
So to your point, the magnetic fields are one of the things that helps repel when asteroids come at us. We have magnetic fields, and it sort of helps us in that respect.
Yeah.
But when the poles flip, it leaves us without a protective magnetic field for centuries.
So mad shit could just start coming in.
I think that's the argument. And it also might fuck up like all of our electronics and our satellites and whatnot, which is catastrophic in today's day and age.
I just think about like, fuck the top 10 list. I'm like, we're just floating in outer space. If all of a sudden something just happened where it's just like, we're not going to float anymore. And we're just going to like free fall, like wherever we're at.
Yeah.
That,
I mean,
that to me on some real shit, I've thought about that before. That's the shit that I get kind of like scared about is like, how are we just floating in this bitch right now? And then all of a sudden it could just be like we just drop and like the whole earth is just fucking like fucking free falling.
Yeah, to your point, like when you're in a dream and you're in dream world and you're going through whatever you're going through in your dream, and then you just wake up and you're not in the dream world anymore. Like there's some shit that might be able to happen in this world where we just don't exist anymore. Like we just sort of blink our eyes and like a supermassive black hole like eats the Earth, and it's just like boom, it's over. You know, like
That's like dead ass. That's what scares me. Like even thinking about it right now. Like if I had one question, if they were like, if I won some contest on a cereal box where it's like I could ask the one dude who always wears the ties and shit, the astronomy guy.
Bill Nye, the science guy.
No,
Oh no, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. If I could ask him one shit, it would be what would cause the Earth to just like free fall in outer space and like it's just a wrap for us. There's got to be an answer to that.
Yeah, I don't. It's crazy, right? Like I don't know. Yeah, we are like hurling through space at however many thousands of miles an hour spinning, and it's like,
yeah, maybe we're doing that.
How does
already,
that shit work? Like, why? See, this is why this stuff is way over my head and way over my pay grade, man. Because it's like, how am I supposed to think about that shit? How do we know we're not actually in a simulation? Because one of the arguments that people make for simulation theory is that any society that is advanced enough technologically is going to try to create life on their own. They're going to try to create life. Mm-hmm. So how do we know that we aren't the life form that was created by something that tried to create life, and we're living in that simulation now? Because it is so fucking weird. We're hurling through space at like tens of thousands of miles an hour or whatever it is, going in circles, and we got this big ass light thing in the sky that shines light on us and makes everything work, and we got water, we got all these things, and it's like, how do we know that this shit isn't all fake? And that, how do we know that the whatever being that made us in a simulation, that they weren't also made in a simulation? You know, like
shit, yeah.
Like what? And there's some not stupid people who think that simulation theory is real too. Some straight up like not dumb people. Some very thoughtful people.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it probably is some truth to some of that shit. There's definitely like, I don't know, that shit bugs me out.
Stephen
now
Hawking.
I'm thinking about. Do you remember Mr. Zeller from Netroots High School?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about that dude, and even if he's like alive right now. He's got to be alive, but that shit was 20 years ago, and he had gray and old ass hair when we were in his class, or when I had him.
He's alive. He's not crazy.
He's definitely alive, right?
He was probably 30.
No shot, he was 30. He was definitely 60 something.
No, you think so? He didn't look 100%. Old. He had gray hair, but he didn't look old.
Maybe he's like 70 now or something like that. Whatever, but like he loved astronomy.
Yeah, astronomy's cool. Do you know anything about astrology? You know what that is? That's the shit that they ask you, like, what's your sign?
Oh, yeah. Nah, fuck all that shit.
Yeah, there's definitely no, like, empirical evidence for it, but it's fun to just go through it, just to see what it says, because it's always...
I don't even know all the months in order until, like, 2 years ago type of shit. Like,
That's so used to, like... I respect that.
Like my mom would be like, "What are the months?" And I'm like, "I don't know," because towards the end it all gets fucked up with like July, August, September, October, November, December. Fuck it up.
January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, and then back to January. Yeah.
There's some basic ass shit that I don't even know. Like, there's some basic shit you just forget. Like, I know we like multiplication. Regular ass shit that I have to like question myself on, like, I don't even know that shit anymore. And like, you don't need to, but the months of the year, I obviously know what the next month is, whatever month we're in. But for someone to be like, can you rattle off the whole shit in order, is like, I would just answer that with like, it's kind of unnecessary to do that. You know?
No, I fuck with you saying that. I know the months, but I also fuck with you saying that. I respect
like
that.
There's absolutely
you just don't care.
No reason, yeah, so, for someone to be like, hey Kyle, do you mind just rattling off all the months in order for me? You'd be like, fuck you, dude. Like, it's July. I know like whatever the next month is gonna be. So don't ask me what the whole shit is.
I just looked up your sign because I know your birthday is July 15th.
I know that.
Cancer. Yep. Let's read what it says, and this way you could read into
another shit that I don't like that people do. I don't know what month falls into what season, so don't ask me like I don't know. Is October winter?
October's fall.
Okay, so like I don't know that shit.
Well, see, it gets complicated because there's like the actual seasons, and then there's what's called the meteorological seasons, and the meteorological seasons just go by the temperature. When it's the hottest, it's summer.
So June,
And
July.
then there's spring, and then there's the coldest is winter. So meteorological spring starts on like March 1st, but March 1st is actually still
Summer?
winter,
Oh,
and it's not spring yet. So it's weird because there's different ways of looking at it. There's the actual seasons based on like
what people
uh,
say seasons are?
no, the actual seasons are based on the positioning of the Earth in relation to the sun, I
Oh,
believe.
damn.
Wait, I might have fucked that up. Let me look that up.
See, yeah, I get confused on just all of that shit. Like when you said March was some shit, I had no idea. Like I get confused with spring and fall. Fall is what?
What do you mean? What's fall?
Like
Fall is
what months are fall?
the transition from summer to winter. It's that middle period. You're coming out of summer
So
and
like
you're falling into winter.
so October, November,
October's fall.
December. Or
Okay, so
see what I'm saying?
meteorological or normal?
No one knows this shit.
Do you want meteorological or normal? Well, actually, hold on.
Normal shit.
Let me just read what it says about seasons. Yeah, I was right. The Earth's tilted axis causes the seasons. Throughout the year, different parts of the Earth receive the sun's most direct rays. So when the North Pole tilts toward the sun, it's summer in the Northern Hemisphere. And when the South Pole tilts towards the sun, it's winter in the Northern Hemisphere. So, in other words, the summer is when you get the most sun.
Yeah.
Winter
Summer
is when
I know
you get
because that's like
the least
July.
sun.
I would say June, July, August is probably summer, right?
So you're giving the meteorological seasons,
Okay.
which is one version of it.
Okay.
But the actual seasons are a little bit different. So let me give you, what are the dates for the seasons?
See, that's why I'm confused too. Like, why are there two shits?
So the meteorological ones are just to make it easier for people to understand, number one, and number two, just do it based on temperature.
Okay.
Whereas again, the actual seasons are based more on the sunlight and how much sunlight you're getting. Does that make sense?
Nah.
Okay, so
It
in
does
2022, even though meteorological spring started on March 1st, okay, actual astronomical spring started March 20th.
Okay, so still March.
Summer starts June 21st. That's
Okay.
the astronomical start.
Yep.
The meteorological start was June 1st.
Okay. All right, so it's kind of close.
And then fall starts, the actual start is September 22nd. The meteorological start is September 1st. So for the meteorological starts, it's just the first of those months.
That's fall. Okay, so when's winter?
So the actual start of winter is December 21st. The meteorological start is December 1st.
March, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Okay.
See, so that's how it works.
December.
Look, I'm a fan of, even though it's not technically accurate, I'm a fan of the meteorological numbers because they're easy to remember. Everything just starts on the 1st.
Yeah.
So spring is March 1st, summer's June 1st, fall is September 1st, and winter is December 1st. That just makes more sense to me. And that also goes, again, based on, that's more like in line with the temperatures when they're the hottest and the coldest and the middle, you know?
But isn't it still brick in spring? So January, February, March.
It
is
varies.
spring?
It varies. Yeah, March is spring. It's still usually pretty cold. There's a saying about spring, or about March, in like a lion, out like a lamb. So it comes in really cold, and then by the time it leaves, it's kind of pleasant.
Damn, there's a real saying behind that shit?
Yeah, people say that. March is in like a lion, out like a lamb. Or at least in the Northeast and in a lot of places, it's in like a lion, out like a lamb. In like Florida, it's probably
Lambing all the time.
Lion
all the time.
In okay, out kind of hot. Or whatever.
No, in like a... So the lamb is supposed to be hot or the lion's supposed to be hot?
The lion's supposed to be cold.
Oh, so in like a lamb, out like it's still like a motherfucking lamb.
Well, March, probably late March gets hot in Florida because.
So who said a lamb is hot? Someone must have been on some weird shit, trying to like hit on a lamb.
The lamb part is pleasant. The lamb part is pleasant. So like March, 28th in the Northeast is probably the weather starting to get nice, 62 degrees or whatever the fuck,
Oh, so the lion's supposed to be some like aggressive ass cold shit.
Aggressive cold shit, yeah.
Kind of like fuck that stereotype, because like what if the lambs are cold too? Like that shit, they're not like having conversations with you.
I'll take it up with the person who made the anecdote.
Yeah,
Man.
fuck that person. Like,
let's go back to your horoscope because let's read into this shit too much. So July 15th horoscope. There is a deep need in everyone born on July 15th to speak their mind.
Is that true?
That shit is kind of true. You keep it real all the time.
Oh yeah, I keep it real. I guess. Yeah, I can fuck with that.
They say, although they don't have absolute faith in the power of their role, they will be blessed with many ideas and thoughts they feel free to share.
I fuck with that. I got a lot of ideas that I share.
They tend to have a large social circle. They tend to have a big ass dick. Can you imagine they said that in the horoscope?
You're like, oh shit, I'm on Pornhub.
And they say the big ass dick thing, and some woman reading it is like, it's true, I do have a big ass dick. They tend to have a large social circle to confirm their position and the importance of their true inner nature. If they get distant from their core, their friendships will start to fade, and this is an obvious alarm. They need to notice that they have lost self-respect somewhere along the way. Their most important challenge is to stay in touch with the group while still not allowing social norms and demands of their tribe to become more important than their own inner judgment. As they learn and expand their knowledge, the world they live in becomes more susceptible and open for their need to speak. This supports their second numeral row and their search for truth within, seeking a place where they can rest and find a way to give others what they wish to share, respectful of their own and everyone else's boundaries.
I don't even know. You read all that shit.
Yeah, that's just generic shit.
That was
here's what they say about your love and emotions.
Big titties.
That you're quite rational and concerned about communication and mental processes. The emotional world of those born on July 15th is extremely rich. We must understand that with their sun set in Cancer, the only expression they truly need is the expression of emotion that hides beneath the surface. This is why they need a partner they can talk to about each other, about each feeling that burdens their soul and everything that becomes relevant to their heart. The inner battle of the feminine to get out could lead them into parallel relationships. Oh shit. Especially if they make too many rational choices that don't really suit their primal emotional nature. They want someone to nurture and someone to keep them safe so they can express their core and show themselves in the light that is supportive of creative work and all forms of personal growth.
I don't even, that shit is so dumb to me.
Here's what you excel in. You're a strong orator, which means you're a good talker. You're someone with vision and knowledge, able to speak their mind. You write coherently and communicate what needs to be said. Dude, I love these shits because they're so generic and broad that anybody can be like.
That's what I'm saying.
Some people take that shit
to the heart. And I mean, there's a lot of people out there that get got by these people that have horoscope readings and mind reading shits, and some people are just super gullible. I had I don't know if I told you, but I had a Uber driver in New Orleans who was convinced he had this COVID machine shit, and he kept talking about some guy who sold it to him, and then the guy sold him some water that took all of the pH level out of water and shit like that, all this weird shit. And he was telling me how he's got this device in his house that, sometimes when it's sunny and the air, it's coming through and you could kind of see the particles just in the air and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do, yeah.
He was like, you come to my house, you won't see any of that. It clears all of that shit. And I was like, damn, this machine sounds magical, man. And he just had some guy that just kept getting him to buy all this crazy shit. And he was
no.
And he's trying to tell me about this next thing now that could change all my water hoses to this water and do all this shit. But that one's a little bit more. It's a couple thousand. And I just told him I'm not ready for that one yet. And he was like, but I might get it still. I was like, this guy's just fucking milking all your money. It's the same people that fall for all those priests and all those crazy evangelical shit. It's just some people out there need to hear that horoscope shit for some confirmation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I hate to say this, but man, the NFT shit is like that, bro.
Oh, 1,000%. And that shit's gonna collapse like a motherfucker. It already is with those.
It is collapsing right now.
Monkey portraits.
Yeah,
like
the Bored Ape Yacht Club or whatever it's
all
called.
of that
Yeah,
shit. It's like,
man, it's so amazing to me that so many people fell for it. Like I look, I'll be kind. I get some of the arguments in favor of the cryptocurrencies. So like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like I understand their arguments because they would argue, look, the centralized currency like the US dollar and all these what they call fiat currencies around the world, like they're sort of fake. It's a really centralized system. The government runs it. You don't trust the government. You don't trust all the institutions. Like that shit is actually going to collapse, and that shit is the problem. And so we created like a decentralized currency. And so there's an inherently appealing argument there, but at the same time, they have all these criticisms of a centralized system, but like there's also problems with a decentralized system. And like a lot of this shit has the same feel of like the multi-level marketing scams. It has the same feel of like pump and dump schemes. Like you have there are all these like sketchy creators on YouTube and on Instagram and on all these places that would like push to their audience like you got to buy this new cryptocurrency because this is the shit and I got in on the bottom floor and I'm making money off this and this is the next wave and this thing is the best. And then all the unsuspecting people buy it and then the people at the top of it dump it and then they cash out high. And then these people are left holding the bag with useless ass shit. And like, you saw this with NFTs. People were buying NFTs for like $300,000 and then they go to sell it and they get like $115 for it. And it's like, how did you not see that a fucking picture of an ape online that is some shit? You think that's like some revolutionary shit?
There's no tangible item. Like there's no gold, like there's no gold bars that you can actually. I mean, again, maybe I'm not smart enough to understand, but I just feel like it was very smart people trying to get dumb people to like get on board with their thinking of what they were doing. And people tried to be smart, like dumb people try to be smart. And they were like, yeah, I understand what you're talking about. Whereas the dumb people who were dumb enough to just be like, I'm too dumb for that shit. And that shit makes no sense. Were the ones who didn't get got because they were just like,
exactly,
that shit is dumb.
No, it's like,
and I'm dumb enough to know that shit's dumb.
It's just saying, if you just say, look, I don't understand it, so I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
That alone makes you smarter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, I do feel bad for people though, man, because, and the other thing is, here's the other thing. If people get pissed off about like criticisms of crypto or NFTs, what people need to understand is it's actually not personal, because in order for them to make money on their investment, and the myth needs to survive that like, no, this shit is super valuable, so that they can dump their shit off and end up cashing out without losing all their money. And so like, it's evangelical by its very nature. So anybody who has an NFT and they're hawking NFTs, they're never going to agree with you on criticisms of NFTs, because if they agree on the criticism, then they're helping to tank the shit, which is the mirage that they have to live in order to survive in the shit. But really, it's like the get rich quick shit. I mean, you had, as soon as that shit hit the mainstream, it was like, oh man, this bubble's going to pop soon. When you had like Matt Damon doing commercials for some shit, and he was like, fortune favors the brave, and so get into this shit now. And then
I remember when that website dropped, and it was just like weird. It was just like a fucking avalanche or something. It was like a mountain, and like, yeah, Matt Damon was just there, like hiking or something on the mountain, and I was just like, I even tried to click around and figure out what the fuck it was, and there was just no explanation of anything. Like, you go to footlocker.com and you see sneakers. You go to like that website that day it was announced, and I was even more confused of just like, what am I on? Like, what am I climbing Mount Everest, or am I like, is this a new Matt Damon movie, or like, what? Can you just have a headline of like what you do?
Yeah, and it's not even being used right now as like a cryptocurrency anymore. It's more just speculation. Like, it's just people driving up the price by buying it, and it's not good, man. And that bubble's bursting. It's already down like over 50% since its peak.
Good. But they had I mean, I don't know if they scammed this many people, but they fucking had enough money to buy the Staples Center, crypto.com arena or whatever. So like, they must have some money, because they got locked into a contract probably for 10 years or some shit. So
funny enough, it ended up being exactly like it was with a centralized currency, which is massive, massive inequality in it. So the people who got in early got super wealthy, and then the people who get in late, that shit they're fucked. And so it's just like that in the real world, you know? So it's rough, man. It's rough. I don't know if this is the total downfall of it, but obviously it's not. It's like it's not a stable investment. It's very speculative. That's the point. And people trying to act like it's stable. It's like, did you really think this was stable? Did you really think a picture of an ape, a cartoon ape, was going to go up in value? Like,
well, that's why I never got into the stock market. Like, my brother does that shit a little
gambling.
bit.
Yeah, it's gambling. That's what
gambling.
It is.
It's like, give me 500, I'll go to the casino, and if I win, I could double that shit right away. Like, I don't have time.
Yeah, that's more honest gambling. That's more like you admit that what you're doing is gambling. A lot of people who, you know, buy and sell stocks, they think like, no, this isn't really it's gambling. It's
100% gambling. It's the same shit as I never got into it, but like playing fantasy baseball or football or basketball, and like just people have too much time on their hand to do shit other than just live. So like shout out to people who want to be involved with the stock market, but I don't have time to be like, is Apple up or down today?
I don't knock honest gamblers because they know what they're doing and they're just like, I like gambling. Okay, fair enough. It's the people who pretend like they're not gambling that annoy me, especially when it comes to the stock market, because it's such a fucking gamble, man. Like, think about how rigged everything was in 2008. They had these subprime mortgage packages that were just total bullshit, and they were rated AAA, like they were safe investments.
Yeah.
And like people lost their livelihoods because they invested in this shit. You know, you had these like Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers went under. That like these people had their life savings with them and were, you know, when people promise you like, oh, you're going to get an 8% return year over year on your money, it's like, you don't fucking know that. You know what your best bet is, honestly, if you're going to be an investor, and I'm not even joking about this a little bit. Go follow all the investments that Nancy Pelosi does and copy those shits.
Is that shit out there? Like what she?
Yeah, it's public.
Oh, for real?
Their investments are public. Or yeah, because they have to.
So why wouldn't everybody do that shit? She makes mad
I don't know.
money.
They should. They should. But because the reason why you would copy a lawmaker is because they make the laws.
Yeah, 100%.
And so, and they get paid by the corporations and they pay the corporations back. So whatever moves they're making, they have insider knowledge. They're not guessing. They have knowledge. Now look at some other idiots who don't have insider knowledge and they're just pontificators like Jim Cramer on Cnbc. He's down massively. If you'd followed his investments, you'd be fucking broke.
That guy was like a staple of our high school. Our teacher loved him, so he made us watch Mad Money and like call into the show. But that guy, he's always wrong about his shit, right? Like, how did he become like, I mean, now I know because I watch like ESPN and just all these talking heads who are like Kendrick Perkins, like who are just like on there because they're on there. But back when we were in high school, I looked at that guy as like, he must know what the fuck he's doing. He's got his sleeves rolled up. He's got his button down here. He looks like he's on Wall Street. You know, like he looks like he's saying all the right words. But he's probably just some dickhead that knows nothing about like the stock market and just like, yeah. He's investing in a whole bunch of stupid shit.
Jon Stewart destroyed him after the crash in 2008. He basically brought him on and just berated him. And he was like,
really? Good.
How wrong about everything? Yeah, because he was telling people to buy fucking Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns and shit right before it went belly up. And he was saying it's a safe investment. Basically, what his job is a propagandist for the corporations.
Yeah.
So, like, his job is to just say, like, yeah, they're great. Everybody give your money. And it's really just like he's part of the scam, you know? He gets paid to be their cheerleader, but act like he's being an objective analyst. And he's just not.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I'm cool. If people want to gamble, if people want to invest in the stock market, God bless. But like, just understand, you are gambling. It's gambling.
Yeah,
it's
if anyone's putting their money in the stock market after this, just send that shit to me and I'll go. There's a casino like 40 minutes from me. I'm nice at blackjack. Like, I'm nice. And I promise I'll like double or triple your shit better than what the stock market would do.
Yeah.
So hit my Venmo, holla at me, and I got you at the blackjack table for real.
I miss gambling, man. So you know what I used to do at the roulette table? I would do the Martingale System, it's called.
Yep.
You pick black or red. You do the minimum bet on it. If you lose, you double that bet. If you win, you just do the minimum bet again.
Yep.
And you do that system, and I'm up like $1,000 in my life doing that system. Now, you can go belly up, but in order for you to go belly up, there needs to be like 7 blacks in a row. And
yeah, it has to be some OD shit.
Or 7 reds in a row, and your money's on black. So when you do that system, low-key, you probably have like a 48% chance of winning, which is a pretty good chance in the casino. Like, you're not beating the odds of the casino, but you're close to beating the odds.
Yeah.
And so that's why that shit works. So
that's why there's a name to it, yeah.
When I do roulette, it's called the Martingale System because apparently a guy with the last name Martingale did this before they had minimum and maximum bets, and he would just bankrupt all the casinos.
Yeah.
And then they realized like, oh shit, we got to do minimum and maximum bets because then that's a way where they could get you back. Basically, they limit your chance of eventually, making them go belly up. But
there'd be a couple times where it'd be like diesel one way, and I'd be like, damn, like this is your big shit. But like for the most part, you always hit it at some point.
I never lost my whole shit, I don't think, doing
That's
it.
what I'm
But
saying.
yeah, there were times where I was down to like, there were fucking 5
Like you had to put a big ass stack
blacks in a row, and I had my money on red, and so I had in whatever the maximum shit I had in, like $400 on my shit. And it's like, dog, if I lose this one, I lose my whole shit. You got to be willing. Like, you have to be willing to cash in.
Oh yeah, you were always like, just like, yep, this is my big shit. Like, like, and like for the most part, it would always hit where you would recover.
If you tell me, are you betting that, would you bet that black is not going to come up 7 times in a row? I'll take that bet every time.
Yeah, same.
So that shit was fun. I want to go do that again. But the other thing is, you should only gamble with what you're comfortable losing.
Yeah.
So if I went and had like $400, it's like, if I lose this shit, I lose it and I'm leaving and that's it. You know what I'm saying?
That was never me. That would be
and I just got lucky that like I never actually lost doing the Martingale system. So.
And I was like the yin to your yang. It'd be my credit card would be like, we could lend you $1,000 and you could take that shit out and have it right now, but we're gonna charge you mad interest. And like, I'll be like, fuck it, I need to keep gambling. That shit was like, we would go up to Mohegan Mondays and just fucking rock out. And like, if I had lost right in the beginning, I'd be like, fuck. We came here thinking if we lost 200, we're out. But I was like, I can't leave after 5 minutes.
Yeah,
but I would have some good days.
That
I
happened.
think overall, if we can like go back in time and kind of, hey, well, look at like what we did, I think we probably won for the most part.
You should have done the Martingale shit too, because that shit would have worked for you too. Like,
but I don't have the patience for that shit. Like, I'm either like gotta win mad money. Like,
yeah, see, that's the thing. You got that gambler's thing where like you like the action.
Yeah.
Like when you're doing the Martingale shit, you're not really doing it for the action. You're doing it for like, let me slowly build money here.
Yeah, you got more patience than I do at the table to do that shit.
Well, that's why in poker too. Like, man,
same thing. You got more patience.
I love playing poker. Although that one time I won that tournament on my birthday at it wasn't Foxwoods, it was Mohegan Sun. I didn't want to play poker for like another year after that. Just sitting there one day for like 12 hours or whatever the fuck it was. I got there in the morning and I left at like 11 or 12 at night. Yeah, I was like, that shit was so taxing. I don't know how pro poker players do it, because I love poker. And after one full ass day of playing, I was like, I don't want to play for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's draining. It's like playing in like a fucking all day basketball tournament. You're like, I don't want to touch basketball for like for months after this. Like if you literally from morning to night have just played in like five, like,
forget
you're gonna be like, I'd never want to touch another basketball.
Never want to do it again.
Even if you won the championship, like that would give you more reason to be like, I just did all this for hours, accomplished the shit, so I'm good now forever.
Exactly. That's how I felt. I was like, I basically did the equivalent of like, I won the Masters in golf. Yeah. Like I just won the Super Bowl in football. Like I'm good. I'm done. I climbed the highest mountain. Like I'm straight right now. Like I don't need anything else. That's how you know.
Was
like
impressive when you told me one. I was like, damn, that's kind of G.
So technically what happened was we got down to like 6 or 7 people and we just all looked at each other and said, let's split it. Yeah. So like I won, but so did however many other people.
Yeah, but it was still mad people in the shit.
Yeah, it's still, I was one of the last ones standing and I didn't get knocked out. And so in my mind, that's a W. I'll take it, Yeah,
100%.
But yeah, that was awesome. That was up there with one of my best poker accomplishments. The other one I'd say is, were you there with me for this one? When we went to that guy Andrew's house, he was the old lifeguard at my pool. At the pool where I grew up in.
I remember the tournament. I don't know if I was there or not.
Okay, so we went to he invited us. He was the lifeguard at the pool where me and my sister grew up. My sister was the lifeguard there for a while, but this guy was the other lifeguard, and he invited us to go play cards, knowing that we loved it. I don't know if you were with me or not, but anyway, so we had a one tournament, and I ended up winning that tournament. It was probably like, I don't know, it was 2 or 3 tables, so it was like 18 people.
Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah. So I won that, but it was kind of over quickly for a poker tournament, and it was still kind of early. And so we were like, you guys want to play a cash game or you want to play another tournament? And everybody was like, yeah, let's play another tournament. Fuck it.
Took the
and then I won the second shit too. Yeah.
Damn. They definitely thought you were cheating in that bitch.
No, they didn't think I was cheating, but I wasn't ever invited back.
I wouldn't either. To win back-to-back shits is kind of like, damn, dog. Like, what?
And I was young too at the time. I was probably senior in high school. I was young.
Oh,
And so
can you check if is Doyle Brunson dead? He's got to be dead, right?
Oh, he's got to be dead. Let me see.
Because he was old as shit when we were like in high school.
OD.
I'm like,
oh my God, he's still alive.
He's still alive?
He's still alive, bro.
Is he still playing poker, or is he got to be like really like in bad shape?
Still. One of the first searches is, did Doyle Brunson pass away?
That's what I'm saying. Like he was dead when he was alive when we were in high school.
I know, right? Did he walk with a cane or had a walker or like a wheelchair or some shit all the way back then? And he's still chilling. Good for him. Yeah, good for him.
Those guys were legendary. And meanwhile, they're just fucking schlobs who ate like shitty Las Vegas buffet food, who were superstars for being poker stars.
We were right on that wave, the 2003 poker wave, because
that was shit.
The NHL was like on strike or something, and so ESPN needed like something to fill the time, and they were like, I don't know, let's show the World Series of Poker.
And they crushed it with that.
That shit took off like
wildfire.
Crazy. It was a wildfire, dog. It was insane, and all of us and our friends, we were all about that shit.
Speaking of hockey, the Rangers won. They won Game 7 yesterday, and I'm not even into hockey, but shout out to them.
In the playoffs?
Yeah, the Stanley Cup playoffs. They beat the Penguins.
Wait, they won the Stanley Cup?
No. They just got out of the first round.
Okay. So they still got a while to go.
They still got like a while to go.
Okay.
Well, like that was what's up. Like I like seeing the Rangers do well, and they won Game 7 was kind of cool.
Yeah, I used to go to a lot of Rangers games with my dad when I was a kid. He would take Rangers games. And it was fun. It's fun when there's a goal in hockey. There's like, an explosion in Madison Square Garden, and it's really cool.
Hockey games get wild, especially like the Canadian teams go fucking crazy. Like when I was younger, like the Rangers versus Canucks used to be like that was the shit when they won the finals, and the Canucks used to be like the scariest team. Like seeing the Canucks and their uniforms, I would be like, damn, those guys are like fucking badasses. And then we beat them.
I don't know for sure, but there's a really good chance I went to games during the 1994 Stanley Cup win of the Rangers. I didn't go to like any of the Stanley Cup games, but I probably had been there for regular season games the season they won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and that was like G-ass team, like Mark Messier, Brian Leach. They had the squad.
Mike Richter, the goalie.
Mike Richter, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember all that. Yeah. It was fun. Damn. He also took me to Devils games too.
New Jersey was like popping with the Nets and Devils, and the Devils were the shit too. They were really good.
Martin Brodeur.
They were like good. Yeah, hell yeah. He fucking was a savage. They won like mad Stanley Cups.
Yep. Yeah, I loved. I love going to those games. It was fun. I haven't watched hockey since probably high school. I haven't watched it at all. But if the Rangers get to the Stanley Cup, I'll watch it.
That'll be dope. I'm gonna hit you with some shit right now. That I'm gonna hit you with like maybe one of the worst candies ever invented, and I've had these shits next to me just to see your opinion on these shits.
Let's see.
It's like a Tootsie. It's the Tootsie Roll, but they make them in like different flavors. Have you seen these shits before?
I haven't seen those before.
You never saw these before?
But I'm not even hot on Tootsie Rolls, so these shits are probably not making the cut.
No, so I mean, like, I could get behind a chocolate Tootsie Roll, but these shits are the worst.
Why do you even have them?
It was from, like, we went to a birthday party, and they had a piñata, which was kind of gangster. And the shit had mad candy in it. Like, piñatas are kind of the shit, because...
Yeah, they're kind of cool. I like them.
And if you don't put a piñata on like a tree or some shit and someone has to hold it, I've had to hold a piñata before. That shit is mad dangerous. Like,
of course it is.
It's because you have to kind of stand with your like body out of the way and hold the shit off to the side.
And some little ass kid is going to hit your nuts or something.
Yeah, so they're swinging that shit like crazy. And while you're holding it, the shit is like kind of still like swinging a little bit. So it's like not some stabilized shit. And when you whack at it first, then it starts wilding out. So your first reaction as the hitter is to like follow that shit and just like keep whacking. Like you don't wait till it gets stabilized again because that would take mad long. So like, some people probably have gotten fucked up holding piñata shit.
I could see a piñata accident happening.
There's got to be some fatalities or like lost eyes or shit. Like if you're swinging like a real metal bat, because sometimes you're using like a stickball bat or something.
Damn, people use a metal bat for that shit? That's crazy.
Because it's hard to break that shit. It's like a
I remember doing
fucking
it with like
cardboard ass box.
Anytime I've ever done a pinata, it was with like a stick.
Yeah, and that shit is hard to like break through a box with that shit.
True. That's true. Yeah.
So if you're really trying to get it, you need some diesel ass bat shit. And if you have some diesel ass bat shit,
it's a wrap.
Someone's definitely had broken ribs or like got hit in the nuts, like smacked in the face with that shit.
What percentage of pinata people though have actually held it up versus hung it up? Because I feel like the people who are inclined to buy a pinata are also the people who are inclined to like, I'll just tie that shit up to a tree somehow.
I don't know, because it's also one of those shits where I was holding it because it was just some work event. So like it was on some lazy shit. It was like, let's buy a pinata with some candy in it.
Yeah, it's too much to hang that shit.
Too much to hang that shit. But a birthday party, you also have to have. So if you're in a venue, you can't really like tie it to anything. There's no like stabilized shit. So it's going to just be like a dad who's like, yeah, I'll hold it. Where we were at, it was a party outside. So they luckily had some trees like hanging over their backyard. So they could find some shit, which still is hard to like get it high enough.
Yeah, it is. It sounds like a pain in the ass.
So I think I would say if there was a poll, it's probably more likely that people hold a pinata than put that shit onto some stabilized shit.
People living on the edge, dog. That's living on the edge right there.
I mean, yeah, I would say, you know how they have those crazy polls that say like 0.2% of people die from like a lightning strike or some shit? It's got to be like at least 0.7 people die from getting hit with like a pinata bat.
Let me look it up.
Someone's gotten hit in the head and had.
I'm gonna type in pinata death.
Pinata deaths. Any?
Pinata death.
Injuries
looking positive.
Like New Mexico.
Okay, there's a Miami Herald article titled "The Perils of Pinatas." So there might be a whole ass article talking.
Perils is like the downside of it, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, pinatas low key is like a death. Like if I wanted someone to get fucked up and like didn't want to like put a hit out on anybody, I'd have a birthday party for one of my girls. I'd get a pinata and I'd be like, Jack, you mind holding the pinata? And then just have someone wail on that shit and miss the pinata and just conk them with it.
Killer pinata list of deaths wiki. Yeah, so the article's not working. I think Miami Herald might have a paywall or some shit.
Oh yeah, fuck them.
We're just gonna go with there's somebody somewhere in history who has died because of a pinata. That is scientific.
Maybe that's how the world will end.
We're actually a pinata in a simulation,
and someone's just smacking us right now.
Toddler is gonna destroy us.
Pinatas low key. They should make a comeback a little bit. I think they are starting to come back a little bit, but them shits are dangerous as fuck, man. I always have I didn't realize it was a thing until I think I held a pinata one time and kind of was like, I might have gotten hit with the shit or close to. And the person was like, yeah, like it's not an easy thing to hold a pinata. So shout out, like I'm going to start like a pinata holders club because if you've ever held one, you kind of know what it's like.
Well, while we're bringing back pinatas, I will make the argument to bring back arcades because those shits are great. And there was one in a bowling alley. I talked about this the other week, but there's one in the bowling alley. That was just dope. I could have spent like hours there. I felt like a little kid again.
Ever since COVID, I kind of, I don't know, my eyes are just more open to like how disgusting those games must be. Like the joysticks and the buttons and like
super germy, disgusting.
Yeah, like the steering wheels on Cruising USA.
Finger in his asshole and then absolutely.
That's like
nothing will
beat games are probably next level, like disgusting.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing will beat just like playing some old school video games at home. I told you I got back into N64.
Yeah.
Dog, Mario Tennis and Mario Golf are like works of art, bro.
Yeah.
Like you can't.
No Mario Kart you're fucking with?
No, that was good too.
Yeah.
But I don't play it as much as the other two.
Yeah.
Like people don't understand. They struck the perfect balance of like difficultness and easiness.
Do golf, they do a good job of like, do you have to switch clubs and stuff like that?
Yes. Yeah, you got to switch clubs, but they make it perfect. They didn't make it too hard. They didn't make it too easy. Like sometimes golf games get goofy with either making it too hard or too easy, and like the putts will be like impossible.
Yeah.
This shit is just perfect. Like
If
you
you
have
hit
to
a
read
good
the
putt,
break
they'll
on the
just.
greens, but if you hit a good putt, you'll make it. If you don't, you'll miss it. Like it's just they just nailed it. Like they just knew what they were doing back with those video games.
Who's
Like
your
they
character? Who's your go-to golfer?
Metal Mario, because he hits the ball pretty far compared to the other ones. I think
Metal
like
Mario?
Metal Mario, he's just a metal version of Mario.
The
He's like,
fuck?
yeah, it's weird, but he's a good ass character. Like
He's a good golfer.
Bowser, I think hits it further, but
Yeah. Bowser
his
shit's
other,
probably sloppy as fuck. Like he definitely doesn't
his
have some like.
I think his other stats are trash. Like he might have a shitty short game or whatever.
Princess looks like she low key might have had some golf lessons when she was younger.
You know, she might be super accurate, but she hits it short.
Yeah. She looks like she's a bitch. Like she doesn't swing the whole shit.
Right. Like some of the characters only hit the ball like 200 yards or whatever. But
Toad's
Mario,
definitely whack with that. Like Toad's definitely got like his precision down, but like
yeah,
he definitely has to make up for his like short drive
yeah.
by like hitting a far like fairway shit.
And some of the characters play like draw shots that are go right to left. Some of them play left to right fades, and it's like, damn, they put a lot of effort into this shit to figure out. And they have wind at like it's just. I could play that shit all day.
Did you fuck with Golden Tee when you were like younger or like arcades?
But I never did. But I should because that shit looks
like the
fun.
Arcade game with like the spin ball thing. Yeah, right.
Yeah. There's still like leagues of that shit.
Oh yeah.
Games that stood the test of time that people still play that shit.
That game has like a cult following. That's a big time. Like
I'm about to join it.
Yeah, no, you should. I feel like you'd
Mm-hmm.
really like Golden Tee because they had it at an arcade, not an arcade. They had it at a bar I was at in New Orleans, and like it was mad fun. Like you had to figure out just the perfect amount of spin on like little like draw shots, and like you talk about the fades. You could switch up your clubs. Like, yeah, that game goes hard.
Damn, I sort of want to play that now. I want to buy that. Oh, you know what I'm going to get?
Yeah, you could probably buy that arcade game.
Maybe, but that seems like a pain in the ass to get installed and everything, and probably costs a lot. Fuck, what was I going to say? Oh, you know what I want to buy? So this weekend, I was on a scooter a little bit, the old school scooters, the sort of like the Razor scooters, but it was a different company. And like, it was fun. I was like, this is cool. I forgot how fun it was to be on a scooter. Because we were walking to the river and like I didn't want to walk. I was just feeling lazy, and I was like, I'll just take the fucking scooter. We were able to move the handle up enough where it was kind of like a decent fit for me. It wasn't good, but it was like I could.
Was it one of the motorized joints or just like
no? But that's what I was gonna say. I want a motorized joint, bro.
That you should.
I want a motorized scooter, dog. I sort of want. Do they sell ones like little mopeds that have like a little seat on that bitch? Because I sort of want that shit.
Yeah.
I want that shit.
And I don't even think. I wonder if you need a license for that.
I don't even think so. Electric mope.
One of my professors, I think they were a couple at Cortland, had those shits. And I kind of was like, that's mad weird. But like, it's actually like kind of awesome. You get some fresh air. Awesome. You sit down. You're going not too fast.
It's perfect, bro. Mm-hmm. Electric. I just typed in electric scooter with seat, and that comes up. Oh, it's a wrap, bro.
Yeah,
I'm totally getting this shit. I'm totally getting this shit. Electric scooter with a seat? What? I will drive that bitch from New York to DC. You'll see me on I-95 going like 17 miles an hour.
You'll see that same cop, and you're just like,
"What's up, dog?" He pulls me over. He's like, "You're going too slow now." No, let me live, bro.
Oh, that's mad funny. Yeah, no, motorized scooters are a thing, and then I'll never do a Segway though. Those shits to me like.
Yeah, those are buns.
Like OD buns. Like even in the mall, I'm like, you could walk faster being on that stupid ass shit. And you got to like navigate around people.
Yeah, and it just looks goofy.
It looks super goofy.
Yeah, I'll fuck with the motorized scooter though. All right, on that note, let's wrap it up, dog. Oh, fuck. You just made me hungry on the way out, skis.
These are the 3 worst flavors.
Yeah, but I'd eat those shits. Throw them this way.
Orange, red, and...
Nobody's fucking with the pink ones. The pink ones are next level.
Pink's next level. Like, it's the shit when they have their own bag of pink Starburst.
Oh, I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah, they do just pink.
Oh.
Like, they'll never do, like, just yellow. That shit would never sell.
Nah, nobody would buy that shit.
Or just red or just orange.
Bro,
they have just pinks.
I want a whole bag of pink Starburst, dog.
But also kind of fuck strawberry for being like strawberry must have a good ass agent or someone in the ice cream business that was like that worked out a deal with chocolate and vanilla to put that in the third Neapolitan or whatever that shit is called.
I can't hate on. I like strawberry, so I can't hate on it. But I understand that there are many that it's divisive, and many people do not like it.
Wait, I forgot. So you take the top off the shit, you go all the way across, or you'll scoop out vanilla first.
Usually, what I do is one at a time.
Okay, so depending on your mood, you'll be like, I might eat all the strawberry right now.
Yes. So no, usually what I do is I'll like sort of evenly eat them all separately. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then every now and then, I actually really like if you do chocolate and strawberry at the same time. It's an interesting.
So like a scoop of like on the spoon at the same time?
Like a half and half shit, right? Like I'll go right in the spot where it separates and get half the spoon on the strawberry and half it on the chocolate. Sometimes I'll do that too.
See, that's where I was a little afraid, is just like the cross contamination between all of them. Like if you're eating strawberry and you're like, I'm gonna get a bite of chocolate real quick, and then you got strawberry in your chocolate. But to the argument you made with the sauces again, I'll dip my chicken nugget in the barbecue and then put that shit right in the honey mustard. So like, I'm not afraid of crossing between sauces.
I don't want to fuck it up and cross pollinate it on some standard shit. Like I want to have it separate, and I have it one at a time each, but then every now and then dip into purposely crossing it. But I don't want to fuck it up like where strawberry.
But organically, it's going to happen because
chocolate.
It's going to happen. There's like residue of strawberry on your spoon going into the chocolate.
Nah, you just make sure you don't have any residue, dog. And you got to remember, I'm eating it straight out of the carton. I'm not putting it in a fucking...
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I can make sure there's none of that going on.
That's big time.
Yeah, it's genius. It is genius, I must say.
I'll try it one time. I've never been a fan of strawberry just being a part of that conversation.
Yeah, if you're not a strawberry fan, then I understand why you don't like that ice cream.
It's like Nike and Adidas coming together for a collab, and then Converse just being like, yeah, I'm in there. It's like,
I think strawberry solid, dog. Like, there are times you've probably never in your life ordered a strawberry milkshake, but I've ordered that shit a bunch of times in my life. I fuck with strawberry. Some people don't. It's definitely the least popular of the three, but if you're a strawberry fan and everybody's a chocolate and vanilla fan, then like you're gonna love that shit.
You're a big strawberry, and we've spoke about this shit, but you used to be big on the strawberry cream cheese. Like you really fuck with strawberry. Like
OD Dunkin' Donuts bagel toasted with strawberry cream cheese was, god damn, it was good.
That was your shit for a hot second. Like that was your shit. Yeah.
And like nobody knew about the strawberry cream cheese, and I'd be the only motherfucker ordering it, and I'd be like, this is delicious. Why doesn't everybody get this?
Do you like actual strawberries?
OD, of course.
Oh, like you can eat some strawberries?
Yeah, absolutely.
See?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I could eat like kind of like chocolate covered strawberries, but regular strawberries I've never really like fuck with. Whatever.
You're just not a strawberry guy. I love strawberry.
Yeah, no. But I like strawberry kiwi and Snapple and like artificial ass strawberry.
We'll end on that Corinism. The artificial shit is banging. The real shit is not. All right, guys. We love you. We'll talk to you soon. Everybody have a good one. Peace.